Rubel. So glad to have you with me on the call tonight as we have an interleague matchup on our hands between two clubs trying to make sure every remaining game left on their schedule counts. It's the Philadelphia Phillies visiting the Seattle Mariners. And for Philadelphia, this has been a season that's required some perseverance. A difficult opening month led to an early managerial change with veteran baseball lifer Don Mattingly taking over the club. And since then, the Phillies have worked their way back into the fight, and they arrive in Seattle with a dangerous lineup that will still feature some of the biggest names in the National League. And it'll start right at the top with Kyle Schwarber bringing that trademark left-handed power. Behind him, you'll have Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, and then another difficult out in Luis Ariz as well, one of the best pure contact hitters of his generation. So Philadelphia has power, speed, and plenty of veteran experience throughout this order. But they'll have to try and solve George Kirby on the mound for the Mariners as the Seattle right-hander gets the baseball tonight at 8-10 with a 4.18 ERA and 117 strikeouts on the campaign. Kirby has built his reputation around exceptional command, and he'll attack the strike zone, does not give hitters a lot of free passes, and tonight he'll be challenged by a Philadelphia lineup capable of doing damage when pitchers make mistakes. On the other side, it'll be veteran right-hander Aaron Nola for the Phils, as Nola enters 5-9 with a 5.12 ERA, but don't let that number disguise the swing and miss stuff he has, as Nola has 146 strikeouts on this season, and when the curveball is working, Nola can make life awfully uncomfortable for the opposing hitters. And Seattle has plenty of threats of their own. Randy Arozarena leads things off. Julio Rodriguez as well remains in the heart of the Mariners attack. And you've got Josh Naylor, the switch-hitting catcher Cal Raleigh, and plenty of speed sprinkled throughout a lineup looking to take advantage of anything Nola will leave over the plate. It's late August here in Major League Baseball. The games are getting bigger, and the margin for error is indeed getting smaller. And tonight we've got baseball from one of the most unique settings in the American League. We got the Phillies and the Mariners live from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. It's coming your way next as you're listening to Major League Baseball with Jaric Rubel live right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Welcome back in here to T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Jaric Rubel here with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel as we get ready for first pitch between the Seattle Mariners and Philadelphia Phillies here from Seattle. Second game here of a three-game set. Seattle took the first game 9-2 yesterday as Cal Raleigh hit 3 home runs in the victory for Seattle. Let's take a look here at the Philadelphia Phillies starting 9. As Kyle Schwarber, the designated hitter, will lead things off for Don Mattingly's Phils. Trey Turner will follow him playing shortstop tonight. Bryce Harper in the 3-hole playing right field. Then Luis Ariz, the second baseman, hitting cleanup. First baseman Alec Boehm hitting behind him. Then hitting 6th will be the third baseman Bryson Stott. Left fielder Brandon Marsh hitting 7th. And then Justin Crawford and Garrett Stubbs rounding out the 8 and 9 spots for the Phillies. On the mound for the Mariners, it'll be George Kirby, of course, getting the baseball tonight for Seattle. The right-hander comes in at 8-10 with a 4.18 ERA with 117 strikeouts, as we discussed in the open. And Kirby's made his reputation with outstanding command as he does not give away many walks. And against a Phillies lineup with plenty of veteran power, getting ahead in the count and controlling it will be a major key for his success tonight. So the Mariners and Phillies set to get underway here on some Tuesday night baseball here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Philadelphia came into Seattle yesterday riding a 9-game winning streak, only for the Mariners to blow them out in a 9-2 defeat. Seattle hit 5 home runs in that game. Cal Raleigh hit 3 of them and had 4 RBIs. Julio Rodriguez homered and drove in 3, as well as Cole Young hitting a homer, and Zach Wheeler surrendered 8 runs and 4 home runs for the Phillies. So we're getting ready for first pitch as Kirby now takes the mound for the Mariners, who are wearing their home white threads that have the single pinstripe down the side of the pants and then pinstripes right down the middle of the jersey coming down from each shoulder, just 2 pinstripes. And of course the traditional Seattle Mariner hat, the logo which you see on the score bug right above my finger there, navy blue caps, and Kirby going with navy blue Under Armour long sleeve beneath the jersey. The Phillies will be in their traditional road gray uniforms with the red baseball caps and the red pinstripe down the middle of the pants, as well as the pinstripe similar to the Mariners coming down from each shoulder, just 2 of them on the jerseys, as Kyle Schwarber gets ready to dig in here tonight. So one of the things I'm interested to see in tonight's game are the Phillies' response, as it was the hottest team in baseball coming into Seattle before everything went wrong in a hurry last night. And the Mariners' defense here against this Phillies lineup will align as such. Arozarena, Rodriguez, and Canzone left to right in the outfield. Then J.P. Crawford called up playing third base tonight. Brock Rodden at short, Cole Young at second, Josh Naylor at first, and of course the big dumper, Cal Raleigh behind the plate. 60 home runs and 125 RBIs a season ago. A slow season for him this year, Cal Raleigh, but over the course of the last week, he has come back to life as one of the hottest hitters in Major League Baseball. So J.P. Crawford again back with the Mariners after dealing with some left wrist inflammation, as he'll be playing the hot corner tonight, as he's cousins with Justin Crawford, part of the Phillies lineup here in center field, and they're both related to Carl Crawford. J.P. Crawford is his cousin, and Justin Crawford is Carl Crawford's son. So now we're set for baseball tonight as Kirby working out of the lineup, kicks and deals to Kyle Schwarber as he overpowers a 98-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball right over the heart of the plate. And the count is 0-1 to Kyle Schwarber. So Schwarber here standing in with 39 home runs on the year as Kirby fires the 0-1, and another swing and miss here by Schwarber. Another 98-mile-per-hour fastball as the count now goes to 0-2. As Kyle Schwarber in the 7th inning of last night's game was getting booed and called overrated by the Tarps Off section here at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. It wasn't the whole park that was calling him overrated. It was just the rowdy Tarps Off section. As Kirby delivers the 0-2, it'll be a curveball that's in the dirt. Count now moving to 1-2. As George Kirby has the knuckle curve that he delivers, not your traditional curveball, but working with that knuckle grip. As we'll see what he has here at a 1-2 offering towards the Phillies leadoff hitter Schwarber, who's hitting .243 on the campaign. Here's the pitch, and it's a cut fastball in up over at the letters, but it's ruled a ball, so the count's even at 2-2 now, as George Kirby is one of the more fascinating pitchers in Seattle because of his reputation being built around his command. And now we'll see if he could get a punch out here against Schwarber as the 2-2's dealt, and a swing and a miss by Schwarber. Kirby gets his first strikeout here of the game, and the first out of the game belongs to, or I should say goes to Schwarber, as he's down on strikes. So all 3 strikes were swinging strikes, and all 3 were 98-mile-per-hour fastballs that Schwarber fanned on. As now that'll bring in Trey Turner, hitting .243 on the season. Wanted to bite at that first pitch and ends up doing so on a check swing there, as it's ruled that he went around by the first base umpire. As now Turner's dealing with an 0-1 count here against Kirby. Kirby here wearing number 68, working out of the lineup, kicks and deals, and another fastball coming in at 99 makes Turner swing and miss. It's now 0-2 to the Phillies shortstop. So Trey Turner, the former National and Dodger here, is the Phillies, the third team he's been with in his career. He watches an 0-2 get fouled off as he swings and knocks it right behind the left-handed batter's box, as it makes a old gentleman there jump at the ball hitting the net. Always makes me laugh when that happens. But Turner here still looking at an 0-2 count against George Kirby. Kirby again working out of the windup, fires the 0-2. It's a curveball that gets Turner swinging. Back-to-back punch-outs here to begin the game for George Kirby. And there's 2 away here in the top of inning number 1. So that'll turn over now to Bryce Harper here for the Phillies standing in, as he's still the player who changes the feel of an inning simply by walking to the plate. He's moved back to right field now as Philadelphia's reshuffled its defense since acquiring Luis Ariz, and we'll see here how George Kirby attacks him, and we'll see if he goes after him inside to jam him. First pitch is just that, a fastball in at the hands, but it's ruled a ball right on the cusp of the plate. But home plate umpire Brian Walsh says it's inside and there's no challenge. So the count 1-0 here to Bryce. So Harper digging in with that bat on his back shoulder. The pitch, and it's going to be swung out and hit in the out into right field, as it'll be grabbed out there by the Mariners right fielder, Dominic Canzone. And Harper's in standing at first with a 2-out base knock. So that'll bring up the cleanup hitter now, a contact cleanup hitter in Luis Ariz for the Philadelphia Phillies, as he was brought over here at the trade deadline from the Giants. And he's a throwback kind of player, dipped into modern baseball, as he's just good at getting balls in play. Only 24 strikeouts and 498 bats for Ariz, as he's first pitch swinging and first pitch crushing, as it's out to right field, leaping at the track is Canzone, and he makes the catch as he's able to end the inning. I'm not sure if he would have robbed the home run there for Ariz, as it might have went off the yellow part of the wall in right field, but a leaping catch is made there by Canzone to end the inning. And we'll head to the bottom of the first here with the Phillies going scoreless in the top half. So back here in a moment on USM as the Mariners come up to bat for the first time tonight. You're listening to Major League Baseball with Jaric Rubel live right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Time now for the bottom of inning number 1. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Still scoreless here as we are now up to bat. Seattle Mariners are now up to bat as we take a look now at how manager Dan Wilson aligns his team. As Randy Arozarena will lead things off for the Mariners, be followed by Dominic Canzone and Julio Rodriguez. Josh Naylor then hitting out of the cleanup spot playing first base. Cal Raleigh hitting fifth. Finish that up in a second as the first pitch is delivered here by Nola to Arozarena, and he's first pitch swinging, and it's a fly ball that's in the air out to right. Harper ranging over to his right to make the catch out in right center field just shy of the warning track, and first pitch swinging, and one out already here in the bottom half of inning number 1 for the Mariners. So behind Cal Raleigh, who's hitting fifth tonight, it's Cole Young playing second base. The designated hitter Taylor Ward is seventh, J.P. Crawford eighth, and Brock Rodden will be playing shortstop and hitting ninth. The Phillies defensively line up like this: Martian left, Crawford in center, and Harper in right. As now standing in for the Mariners is Canzone, and Nola delivers the first pitch out of the windup. That's a fastball in at the knees for a strike. 0-1 the count now to the right fielder for Seattle. As the rest here of this Phillies defensive group looks like this. Shortstop is Turner, and then Arise playing second. That's the middle infield, and at the corner, Stott at third and Bohm at first. While behind the plate, Garrett Stubbs will do the catching while JT Realmuto has a night off. Count now 0-2 to Canzone as it was knocked foul on that sweeper that was delivered by Aaron Nola, who's looking for his 115th win in franchise history tonight with the Phillies. If he does that, he'll tie Kurt Simmons for 5th all-time in Phillies history. The 0-2 here being delivered to Canzone from Nola. He kicks and deals, and it's a curveball down at the knees and bounced into the dirt. A knuckle curve at 79 miles per hour that's taken for a ball. So the count now 1-2 to Canzone, who's hitting .256 on the season, as he's also got himself a few long balls this season, but last year he hit 3 home runs in a game in September. He was the last Mariner to do it before Raleigh did last night. As now he looks at another knuckle curve in the dirt. This will be a 2-2 count now to the right fielder for Seattle. Last night, though, he went 0 for 4, so he did not join the hit parade as he grounded into a double play during that game, as the 2-2 offering is going to be low at the changeup down below the knees, so the count's now worked full from 0-2 to 3-2, as now it'll be an interesting spot here for Nola to see what he could do here now that the count's full. Nola gets the sign from his catcher, works and fires, and it's a cutter that's over the plate but knocked foul by Canzone, as now we'll do the 3-2 all over again. So Canzone, an 8th round pick in 2019 of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now second team of his career here now as he's joined the Mariners, as he waits a full count offering from Nola out of the windup. The pitch is inside. It'll be a walk. And Canzone's aboard with a 1-out walk. So a runner here on first with 1 away for the Mariners. As that'll now bring up J-Rod. Julio Rodriguez to the plate. Hit a first inning 3-run homer yesterday. That put the Mariners up 3-1 in the first inning, after Alec Bohm had an RBI single in the top half of inning number 1 for the Phillies. As last night he was 2 for 5 with that home run. The first pitch to him will be a knuckle curve outside. So now the count will be 1-0 to the Mariners center fielder, the 2022 AL Rookie of the Year as well, Julio Rodriguez. As Aaron Nola now working out of the stretch. Pitched 7 innings on Wednesday against the Marlins, his longest outing of the season. And his next pitch will be a cutter that's low and away. It'll be a 2-0 count now to J-Rod. But overall, Aaron Nola in that game against the Miami Marlins was great, as he pitched 7 innings, as he allowed just 1 run and 5 hits and punched out 8. Just allowed 1 home run in that game. As his 2-0 to J-Rod's a cutter outside. It's now 3-0 to the dangerous center fielder for Seattle. So Julio debuted at just 21 years of age, immediately won that 2022 Rookie of the Year. He's established himself now as one of the premier outfielders in the American League and all of baseball, as the 3-0 to him's a fastball right at the knees, as it'll now be called a strike, and the count goes to 3-1. So a good hitter's count here for Rodriguez to work with, hitting 249 on the season. Nola gets set at the letters, working out of the stretch. He fires, and it's a knuckle curve that drops in there at the knees for a strike. The count's now worked full. So the last at bat, he lost a hitter from 0-2 and walked him. Now at the next plate appearance, he now goes from 3-0 and works it to 0-2, or I should say 3-2, as we'll see if Nola's able to battle back here and get the punch out against Rodriguez. Out of the stretch, he fires, and it's swung on and chopped foul down the third base line, as we'll do the full count offering yet again. So again, standing at first for the Mariners is Canzone, as he walked here with one away in inning number 1. Bottom half here of this first inning, live from T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, as we have the roof open here tonight in Seattle, as the weather is beautiful in the mid-70s, as the full count offering to J-Rod will be a knuckle curve swung on and blooped to shortstop that will be gloved easily by Trey Turner, moving to his left, as he's able to catch that one on a fly for out number 2. So J-Rod there flies out, or I should say lines out pretty much to the shortstop, as now that'll turn the lineup over to Josh Naylor, the first baseman, as Naylor had 3 hits yesterday in that game for Seattle, as he's been seeing the ball well for the Mariners from the left side of the plate. So he stands in here against Nola. The first pitch to him's a knuckle curve that he swings over the top of. It was out of the strike zone, as Nola gets ahead here 0-1. Now Naylor here, first round draft pick, 12th overall by the Miami Marlins. Never played for them, though. So he ended up going to the Padres, then the Guardians, before being traded to the Diamondbacks and then traded to the Mariners at last season's trade deadline. As now runners going on the 0-1 offering. Throw down to second, not going to be in time, as Turner applied the tag too late. And diving in there feet first with his right foot was Canzone. And he gets in there with a 2-out steal of second. Now Don Mattingly saying, hang on, we're going to take a look here at the replay, as it was a good snap throw from the catcher Stubbs, but it doesn't look like he'll have a challenge here, as the right foot of Canzone was in there safely, as now the Mariners have a runner in scoring position here with 2 away, and the count 0-2 to the first baseman Josh Naylor. So Garrett Stubbs here, fastest pop time to second base according to NBC Sports Philadelphia, and Realmuto's right behind him, 1.84 seconds for Stubbs, 1.85 for Realmuto, as the Phillies backstops here, quick to getting the ball to second, just not in time there. As now an 0-2 offering from Nola to Naylor will be a knuckle curve swung on and chopped foul right behind home plate, as we'll do this 0-2 offering again here with 2 away, and Canzone standing on second for Seattle. So Nola here trying to work out of this here with the runner in scoring position. The 0-2 offering will be a knuckle curve swung on and missed by Naylor. He strikes him out. And we go to inning number 2 without a run still, as we're scoreless through 1 inning from Seattle. And Bohm, Stott, and Marsh due up for the Phils. Coming up later this week on USM, we'll have the UEFA Champions League playoffs tomorrow, as Seth Eves will be on the call for Lyon versus Fenerbahce, if I even said that right. Not too familiar with my UEFA Champions League teams, but that'll get underway at 3 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And Seth will be back again with more soccer, the EFL Cup, as it'll be Fulham versus Wimbledon at 3 p.m. on Thursday, August 27th. And that night will be rounded out with some WNBA action with Matthew Owens on the call, as the Valkyries will take on the Liberty at 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll all be found right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Again, Jaric Rubel here with you live on that USM YouTube channel. Glad you're hanging out with me on a Tuesday night. Second baseball broadcast over the last 3 seasons for me. Last 4 seasons, I should say, as I had not called a game since April of 2023 until I had called that game just a week ago between the Cubs and the White Sox. Now we're back here 7 days later from Seattle as the Phillies are taking on the Mariners here from T-Mobile Park. As now Alec Bohm gets ready to stand in. He has 29 RBIs since the All-Star break. That's 5th in the National League, behind Sal Stewart, Fernando Tatis, Gabriel Moreno, and Pete Crow Armstrong. He's tied at 29 with the Cardinals' Alec Burleson. So Bohm stands in here against the right-hander George Kirby for Seattle, as Kirby was tagged for 6 runs and 9 hits in just 3.5 innings in his last start against the Milwaukee Brewers on Thursday, as his first pitch here of inning number 2 is a fastball on the outer half of the plate that misses, as the count is 1-0 here to the Phillies first baseman Alec Bohm. Leads the team here in RBIs, or 2 behind Schwarber in RBIs, as he has 76, Schwarber has 78, as Bohm here fouls a 1-0 offering off behind the plate, so the count now moves to 1-1, as we get the face cam back on here, as I'm still using all the bells and whistles. I got to keep score, got to use the score bug, and all that fun stuff here. As the 1-1 now from Kirby will be delivered to Bohm, who swings and chops one on the ground to second. Charging in after it and fielding it nicely is the shortstop for Seattle, as Rodden fires over to first and gets the easy first out. So Bohm's down here to start inning number 2 for the Phillies. And that'll now bring up Bryson Stott to the plate, the third baseman, always a speed threat as well for the Phillies, as if he gets on, look for him to potentially swipe a bag, as he's 23 for 23 stealing bases this season. He's yet to be caught on the base pads, as now Kirby working out of the windup with a big leg kick delivers the 0-0, and it'll be called a strike down at the inside part of the knees. Stott thinking about challenging but won't, as he's behind here in the count 0-1. So 1 away here in the top of inning number 2 from Seattle. Jaric Rubel with you, as the 0-1 from Kirby to Stott's fouled off the mask there of Raleigh, as that makes him shake his head a little bit, but he says, "I'm good," and gives a little nod to Kirby as well to acknowledge that he's all right, as the big dumper's all right behind home plate. There was a changeup there delivered by Kirby that was just hit right underneath by Stott and hit Raleigh right in the eye. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but the little eye spot there where there's not much protection, as the ball could have gotten wedged in there if it was hit hard enough, but it bounced right off that protective gear. As now the 0-2 here from Kirby to Stott, working out of the windup, will be swung on and fouled back. It was a 4-seam fastball that was fouled off behind home plate. So the count here 0-2 to Bryson Stott. So Kirby here again looking for a much different result after his previous outing against the Brewers. So far so good here through the first 4 batters. Now the 0-2 to Stott's going to be a knuckle curve swung on and chopped and found the hole between the shortstop and the second baseman, is diving after it from second base was Cole Young, but moving to his right, could not get it with the outstretched glove. And reaching aboard safely is Bryson Stott with a single. So Stott here aboard with 1 out, as now he's a potential steal threat on first base, as now standing in will be Brandon Marsh, the left fielder here for the Phils, hitting .274 on the year with 17 home runs and 55 RBIs, 28-year-old. As now the first pitch to him is going to be inside and swung on it. It's going to get down inside the left field line, rolling towards Arozarena, who fires it back in quickly. And the Mariners will have runners at the corners here, as moving over to third will be Stott hustling. So first and third here with 1 out for Philadelphia, as Marsh was able to get a 1-out single that moves Stott over to third. So just a nice piece of hitting here on the first pitch from Brandon Marsh. It was a fastball inside on the hands, but he was able to make good contact on it and just knock it down the left field line opposite field. And Arozarena had to charge in after that and get the ball in quickly before Marsh even thought about second base, I should say. So now here comes Carl Crawford's son, Justin Crawford, for the Philadelphia Phillies. Left-handed hitter standing in here as the first pitch is a fastball inside. It'll be 1-0 the count to Crawford. As Crawford, a 2022 first-round pick, 17th overall by the Phillies. The youngster here in a very veteran-dominated lineup and one of the most fun players in the starting lineup for the Phillies. As Kirby now working out of the stretch with runners at the corners and one away, fires and it's hit right back up the middle. That ball's going to get down. The Phillies will grab the lead as it'll be Justin Crawford with a 1-out RBI single to give the Phillies a 1-0 lead here in the top of inning number 2. So runners now at first and second with one away as Crawford was able to turn on that fastball and send it right back up the middle over the head of George Kirby. And the Phillies, much like yesterday, strike first here on the road in Seattle. So Stott came around to score. Marsh made his way to second base as Crawford now stands on first. And the catcher Garrett Stubbs will stand in. Backing up JT Realmuto, not a great season for Stubbs at the dish, hitting 159 and still without a home run on the year as he looks at a first pitch knuckle curve that's in the dirt for a ball, the count 1-0. But overall, Garrett Stubbs just working on his defense behind the plate as we saw that pop time best in the majors. As now he looks at a 1-0 knuckle curve from Kirby that goes in the dirt as the count now moves to 2-0 now. As Kirby here again working out of the stretch with runners on as he got banged up in his last start against the Milwaukee Brewers, trying to get out of some second inning damage here against the Phillies as he fires a 2-0 inside at the hands and it's knocked fair, no foul, says the third base umpire as Crawford wanted to step on the bag at third for the out, but it was ruled foul as that ball bounced just past that third baseline foul. And the count's 2-1 to Garrett Stubbs now. So Kirby here pitching in at the hands to these Phillies hitters. 7 left-handed hitters, by the way, in the lineup tonight for Philadelphia as the 2-1 from Kirby working out of the stretch. After a long pause is delivered, and it's going to be a fly ball hit to left field by Stubbs. Charging in after it is the left fielder Rosarena as he makes the catch while calling off the shortstop Rodden for out number 2. So a fly out here to left for Garrett Stubbs as the lineup turns over. Kyle Schwarber now stands in for the Phillies as he now hits in the second inning. So he'll get his second plate appearance in as many innings. We'll see what Schwarber's got in store for us tonight. Always a threat at the plate as in the 9-2 rout last night. You got to keep that larger context in mind with this Phillies lineup than in a bounce-back game and Schwarber getting booed that he might try and put one in the seats. With 2 on and 2 out here in the second. First pitch offerings, a half-hearted swing and tapped fair in front of the plate. Grabbing it's Raleigh who will make an underhanded toss from the pitcher's mound to first base, beating Schwarber to end the inning. So the Phillies get one as it's an RBI single from Justin Crawford that scores Bryson Stott, and they lead it 1-0 here as we head to the bottom of the second right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Back here from T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As the Phillies struck first in the top of inning number 2, as Justin Crawford's RBI single gave the Phils a 1-0 lead, but now the Mariners have their chance here in the bottom of inning number 2 as Cal Raleigh stands in fresh off his first career 3-home run game, sent T-Mobile Park completely out of fireworks by the end of the game last night, as Nola fires a first pitch fastball in at the knees that misses. The count's 1-0 to the catcher for Seattle, as Cal Raleigh says he's never done that before, a 3-home run game at any level, so it was hard to fathom. It was a great night, and it was the first multi-homer game of the year for Raleigh as well, as it's been a slow campaign for him, as he watches a changeup outside here miss. 2-0 the count now, as he got his nickname, the Big Dumper, over the course of the last couple seasons. He's become one of the premier hitting catchers here in all of baseball's last year. You might have heard 60 home runs, 125 RBIs, as he watches a changeup here inside get called for a strike on the inner half of the plate. So 2-1 the count here now to Cal Raleigh, as his historic 2025 season had the most ever by a catcher and a switch hitter with those 60 home runs, as he awaits the 2-1 here from Nola, and it's a cutter that he crushes. This one's down the right field line. This might go. It will, just inside the foul pole, as Cal Raleigh's done it again. A solo shot, as he's homered now in 4 of his last 5 at-bats, and the Mariners tie it at 1 here in the bottom of inning number 2. So Cal Raleigh with that blast now ups his home run total to 18 on the season, as he mashed that knuckle curve down from the knees. It was a golf-like attempt to crush it, and he crushed it indeed, as that ball carried down the right field line and landed about 2 seats just to the left of that right field foul pole. And the Mariners have tied this game at 1 here in the bottom of the second. So Cole Young stands in here. First pitch changeup up high. The count 1-0 to him, as Cal Raleigh here with his 4th home run of the series has this Mariners crowd applauding, as now the 1-0 Young's going to be swung and towered into the air to center field. Charging in after it'll have to be the center fielder Crawford, as he's able to make the catch with his left hand over his left shoulder to get the first out of the inning here for Philadelphia. So a fly out there to center for Cole Young sends Taylor Ward now to the plate for the Mariners, as his 93 walks are second in all of baseball, behind only the Phillies' Bryce Harper, as he'll work here against Aaron Nola. The first pitch to him will be inside for a ball up high near the letters. Just missed the corner of the plate, but it was ruled a ball here by home plate umpire Brian Walsh. You get about 6.3 walks per game this season with Walsh behind the plate. Starters giving up 6.5 runs per game, as the 1-0 now to Ward will be a fastball fouled off behind the first base dugout, as the count moves to 1-1. So Ward here, a first-round pick back in 2015 of the Angels, now here in Seattle, as he is an experienced right-handed bat in the lower part of these lineups, as the 1-1's going to be a knuckle curve that drops in there at the knees. A beautiful pitch by Nola that gets him ahead in the count, now 1-2. So Ward here standing in, originally entered professional baseball as a catcher, as the 1-2 here from Nola is going to be a cut fastball that misses outside. The count now 2-2 to Ward. But he originally started as a catcher. The Angels selected him in the first round, but they eventually transitioned him to the outfield, and he spent much of his career there before coming over to the Mariners last season, as now here's a fastball on the outer half of the plate that'll ring him up looking. So Aaron Nola gets his second strikeout here of the game, as he sends Taylor Ward down here for out number 2. So J.P. Crawford now for the Mariners will get his first plate appearance since being reinstated from the IL, as he had that left wrist issue. As of course we mentioned the Crawford versus Crawford matchup, as they both have ties to Carl Crawford, and J.P. Crawford also a part of the Phillies organization back in the day, as the first pitch from Nola is a knuckle curve that he swings over the top of, and the count is 0-1 here to Crawford. But he made his MLB debut, J.P. Crawford did, with the Phillies back in 2017 before being dealt to Seattle in the 2018 season, part of this Paul Sewall trade. As now a sinker here on an 0-1 pitch just in there on the inside part of the plate from Nola. So the count now going to 0-2 against J.P. Crawford, who's hitting just .212 on the season. Looking to get that average up a little bit here as he awaits the 0-2 offering with 2 outs from Nola. Working out of the windup, kicks and deals, and it's a 4-seam fastball up high and a bit away as the count now is 1-2. But Aaron Nola, over his last 5 starts, he's been good, a 2.51 ERA, 34 strikeouts over 28 2/3 innings. Compare that with the 5.12 season ERA. You have to think, too, that number's been going down after the struggle he had in the first couple months of the year, as the next offering's going to be looked at up high at the inner part of the strike zone at the letters for strike 3. So Ward and now J.P. Crawford both down looking on strikes to end inning number 2. As we'll head to the third with the Mariners now tying the game at 1, however, courtesy Cal Raleigh's home run down the right field line, as he was able to tie it at 1 with his 4th home run of the series, 4 home runs in his last 5 at-bats, as that's the score through 2 here in Seattle. Back in a moment to start the third. One game from Seattle as the Mariners tied it in the second, courtesy Cal Raleigh solo home run. Now the top of inning number 3 begins as Trey Turner stands in, and he's first pitch swinging against George Kirby, and he lofted one in the air behind the first base bag that drifting over it into right field territory will be Naylor to make it over the head catch, as the first out is made on just 1 pitch here in inning number 3. So Turner's down here on a fly out to left, already 1 away. That'll now bring up Bryce Harper to the plate. He singled back in inning number 1 as he's got 26 home runs and 75 RBIs on the campaign for these Philadelphia Phillies. See what he could do here as he stands in. Again, leads the league in walks with 94. That's 1 more than Taylor Ward. As the first pitch from Kirby's in there at the hands near the letters, it'll be a called strike. 0-1. The count here to Bryce Harper. So Harper here awaits this 0-1 from Kirby, still working out of the windup. He'll swing at a changeup that's knocked foul down the first base line. Ball boy will run over and grab it, as he'll now pick it up and give it to a lucky fan here in the crowd of T-Mobile Park. As now Harper's down 0-2 in the count, as Kirby now working out of the windup delivers that 0-2. It's a fastball up above the strike zone. It'll be 1-2 now. So Seattle here having to decide how aggressively they want to attack Harper here with Arez and Bohm waiting behind him as the 1-2 from Kirby's a knuckle curve that's dropped down in the zone and swung at by Harper but tipped foul as it bounced off home plate and went behind. So 1-2 the count here remains as Kirby here looking for his fourth punch out of the game. Kicks and fires, and he gets Harper to swing and miss at the changeup, and he's down on strikes. Kirby now up to 3 strikeouts on the game. My apologies, as he set down Schwarber and Turner to begin the game. And now here in inning number 3, he gets Harper swinging for his third punch out, and there's 2 away. So that changeup working good here for Kirby. Is that something you got to keep an eye on if he's able to set these guys up with a fastball? He likes to go over, get them to swing over top at the end with that changeup. That's exactly what happened to Bryce Harper there. As now Luis Arraez stands in, flew out in inning number 1, looks at a first pitch fastball in there for a strike. So he's already behind in the count 0-1. So Arraez again only struck out 4 times total this season, as now the 0-1 from Kirby's in there, and it's going to be sliced down the third base line into the left field. That'll be a 2-out knock for Arraez as he stands in there at first with another base hit on this campaign. And now the Phillies have some 2-out magic cooking here, I should say, with Bohm now coming to the plate. And Bohm here having to play first base as the Phillies have kind of shifted around their defense since acquiring Luis Arraez. Bohm went from third to first as Arraez now ends up playing second as Harper moves to right field. And then it'll be it'll be Stott now playing third base for the Phillies. So Don Mattingly shifting things up a bit defensively as Bohm here watches a sweeper miss on the outer half of the plate. 1-0 the count. As Kirby now gets set back, working out of the stretch now with a runner on first. So the 1-0 here from Kirby to Bohm. It'll be a sweeper that just misses on the outer half of the plate. Looked good, but didn't get the call as the count is now 2-0. So quick work here from Kirby as he's already set and ready to deliver the ensuing pitch. And the 2-0 Bohm after a long pause is a changeup low and away. It'll be 3-0 now the count to the first baseman for Philadelphia. And the Phillies here are close to working with 2 on and 2 away here. No, Bohm doesn't strike out nearly as often as modern run producers, and he's well ahead here in the count against Kirby. As Kirby working out of the stretch fires a fastball up high. That'll miss. It'll be a 4-pitch walk here. As now runners will be on first and second with 2 away. And George Kirby, 3.9 career walk percentage, lowest in his first 5 career seasons since lowest in first 5 career seasons since 1920 overall in Major League Baseball, as his walks per game are 2.1. And right now, after walking Bohm, he's now got 1 already here tonight. So Arraez stands in at second, Bohm at first. As now Raleigh's going to come out here to have some words with his pitcher, George Kirby, with 2 away. As Bryson Stott gets ready to stand in, he singled and came around to score last inning for the Phillies. He's hitting .260 on the campaign. And as well, he's driven in 59 runs as he's 4th on this Phillies team in RBIs. As Raleigh here and Kirby having a long discussion, as now home plate umpire Brian Walsh has to come out and tell them they got to part ways as we got to carry on here with this game as Bryson Stott stands in. And again, he's quietly put together one of the Phillies' more interesting all-around offensive seasons, as with the 9 homers, that won't jump off the page, but the 23 for 23 steal number will. He's also got 25 doubles and 6 triples. His patience gives him another way to reach base here for the Phillies. So he stands in here now with Kirby dealing out of the stretch, and his first pitch is a cutter up and in, as that was up there, and Raleigh telling him to calm down just a little bit, as the count here 1-0 to Bryson Stott standing in here with 2 on and 2 away in the top of inning number 3. A 1-1 game here live from T-Mobile Park in Seattle, home of the Mariners. Jaric Rubel with you, as the 1-0 from Kirby is going to be a fastball at the knees in there for a strike, as the count's now even at 1-1. So Stott here, anything into the outfield, I should say, will score. Luis Ariz, as he'll be running with 2 outs, and he's got some speed to work with. As Kirby here working out of the stretch. Waits and fires the 1-1. It's a knuckle curve down at the knees, and it's going to be a check swing from Stott that's appealed over to first, or third, I should say. And it will be called a strike as he went around. And the count now 1-2 to Bryson Stott. Hitting .333 with runners in scoring position this season as he awaits the 1-2 from Kirby. Kirby a look back to second, now fires towards home plate, swinging and missing at the fastball is Stott. He's down on strikes, and able to get out of it is George Kirby as he retires the side. So Mariners coming up to bat here in the bottom half of inning number 3. Rodden, Arozarena, and Canzone due up when we return, as you're listening to Major League Baseball live here on USM with Jaric Rubel. Back in a moment. Stay tuned. Some final scores from around Major League Baseball so far on this Tuesday. The Red Sox beat the Marlins in 11 innings, 7-3, after putting up 4 runs in the top of the 11th inning. And then that's one of 5 games that appears to have gone final so far. The Rays fell to the Tigers 4-1 in Detroit. The Rockies beat the Nationals 3-1 on the road. The Astros beat the Yankees in New York 9-7, and the Royals taking care of the Blue Jays 5-3 up in Toronto. It appears the Braves have also beaten the Dodgers here 4-3, as well as the Mets over the Brewers in 10 innings. That's a valuable loss there, perhaps, for the Brewers, as they're in a division race with the Cubs right now, who are scoreless in the top of inning number 4 against the Diamondbacks, as they'll have 7 games coming up against each other here in a couple weeks in the month of September. And in the American League here as well, the Mariners in a race for their division as well with the Rangers and the Astros, as all of them around plus 170, plus 175, plus 180 price range if you're a betting man looking at the division odds in the AL West, as the Mariners currently set 3 back of the Texas Rangers and the final wild card spot that belongs to the Cleveland Guardians. So Rodden stands in here for the Mariners, bottom of inning number 3, as a first pitch fastball is up and away, ruled a ball, but it might have been a strike, as challenging here is going to be Garrett Stubbs, and he will be right by literally a thread of the baseball, as that call gets overturned by a genuine 1/10 of an inch, and the first pitch will be ruled a strike now to Rodden, and the count is 0-1. Nola back out here for his 3rd inning of work, as he's working out of the windup here as he gets the sign from Stubbs. The 0-1. It'll be swung on, hit on the ground to first. Fielding it cleanly will be Bohm, stumbling and underhanding it in time to Nola for the out, as Rodden with good hustle almost beat it out. But the out is called, and 1 away here in inning number 3. So Bohm fielded that ball again. He hasn't played first base all season long, and when charging in, he kind of lost his balance there while preparing himself to underhand that toss to Nola, and he was able to get it there in time and cleanly for the first out of inning number 3. So now Randy Arozarena will stand in, as in his first plate appearance, he flew out to Bryce Harper out in right center field, as now he awaits the first pitch from Nola, who fires out of the windup, and it's a fastball on the outer half of the plate down low for a strike. So getting ahead here in the count early is Aaron Nola, as his 2026 numbers don't tell the entire story, as he struggled badly early in the year, but he's found a much better rhythm here over summer, as his 0-1 to Arozarena just misses at the knees. That's a close one, but Stubbs here not going to challenge behind the plate. So 1-1, the count now goes against Arozarena. But overall, during the summer, Nola's found his rhythm. He's coming off his best start of the season against Miami, which we talked about earlier, as his 1-1 to Arozarena is a chopper that's hit right back up the middle. It'll be fielded nicely by the second baseman, moving to his right as he fires over to first to get the second out of inning number 3. So a good play there by Luis Arraez, charging in by the bag at second to get the out, as now that'll bring up Dominic Canzone, who walked back in inning number 1. So Arozarena there with the ground out to the second baseman. As now we get the first pitch here towards Canzone. It'll be a changeup down low at the dirt, and it'll be a ball, so the count moves to 1-0 here. And Canzone walked in inning number 1, also stole a base with 2 outs. Did not come around to score in that inning, as the 1-0 offering to him will be swung at and tapped foul behind home plate. So the count now 1-1. So again, Canzone 0 for 4 on Monday's game against these Phillies. And that's a shock considering how well the Mariners played in that contest, as the 1-1 will be a knuckle curve that he swings at and taps foul again towards the first base dugout. So the count now 1-2. As he's sitting here at 19 home runs on the campaign, Canzone is looking to tag perhaps number 20 and give the Mariners the lead. So the 1-2 from Nola with 2 outs rings him up there at the letters on the inner part of the plate. And Nola gets the Mariners to go down on strikes. That's the 3rd time he's gotten a man looking tonight. And we'll head to inning number 4 as it's 1-1 in Seattle between the Mariners and Phillies, live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Back with you here from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. So this place was not always called T-Mobile Park until 2019. It was called Safeco Field, as it opened back in 1999 and was named Safeco all the way up until that 2019 season. Then it was named to T-Mobile Park, and it's been that name ever since. As Brandon Marsh digs in for the Phillies here, as he watches a sweeper delivered by George Kirby go in there for a strike to begin inning number 4. So Marsh 1 for 1 here today as he singled in inning number 2. Down 0-1 here now in his second plate appearance against Kirby, as the 0-1's going to be a changeup that he swings over top of. So Marsh now down 0-2 in this count here. So Marsh as well here, got to watch for how Seattle pitches him throughout the course of this game, whether there's runners on board or not. And so far, Kirby challenging him here with nobody on at the top of inning number 4, nobody out. And he'll challenge him again here with a fastball that climbs the ladder and gets Marsh to swing and miss, as it's now the 5th strikeout of the game here for George Kirby. And just like that, there's one away in inning number 4 tonight. So Marsh here just got overpowered with that high heat and goes down here on strikes, as now it'll bring up Justin Crawford for the Phillies here as he got the RBI single in inning number 2, showing bunt here on the first pitch but pulled back. It was called a strike anyway, as the count here is 0-1 to the Phillies center fielder. 33 RBIs on the young season for him. As again, Justin Crawford, the son of Carl Crawford, looking to do some more damage in this game. Swings at an 0-1 changeup that rolls on the ground to second. It'll be fielded nicely by Young, and a soft toss over to first will get Crawford in time, as there's now 2 away here in the second. Or in the fourth, I should say. So now that'll bring up the 9-hitter for Philadelphia, as Garrett Stubbs will stand back in. As in his first plate appearance, he flew out to left field, as that play was made by Arozarena. As now we'll see what happens here in Stubbs' second plate appearance, as a first pitch cutter here will be swung at and knocked foul down the right field line. Ball boy there able to scoop it up and toss a souvenir back into the crowd here at T-Mobile Park. Now the 0-1 here as Kirby works out of the windup. An erratic changeup there that went way outside. The count now evens up at 1-1 to Stubbs here, the catcher. As the Phillies overall against the Seattle Mariners, 6-4 in their last 10 meetings. Seattle, the winners of 3 of the last 4 in this ballpark, as a knuckle curves dropped in there by Kirby for a called strike. 1-2 now the count to the Phillies catcher. So Kirby here looking for punch-out number 6 through just 4 innings tonight. His K per 9 is just 7.5 this season. So he's on pace to get to that number and perhaps then some if he could get Stubbs down here on strikes. His 1-2 out of the zone but tapped at, and it's going to bounce towards the third baseman. Crawford charges in after it and throws an underhander, should say a side armor, on his way to first, as he's able to retire Stubbs in time and get through the 4th inning tonight. So the Mariners here heading down to the bottom of inning number 4 is now due up for them. It'll be J-Rod, Naylor, and Raleigh when we come back here on USM. A reminder here to all our USM listeners that NASCAR will be on the air in prime time this Saturday night. It's the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. It'll be live here on USM at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time as we head back to Daytona Beach for the first time since February this NASCAR season. Also on that Saturday, college football will get started. Seth Eves has NC State at Virginia at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time for you. That's this Saturday on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Hello, one and all. Welcome back into the broadcast between the Mariners and Phillies from Seattle, with each of these teams tied at 1 apiece, as Aaron Nola had a quick 3rd inning, throwing just 9 pitches. Now back out here for his 4th inning of work. Just 43 total pitches on the early evening for him. So it's a 6:40 first pitch out here in Seattle. Now 7:37 local time as we're approaching 1 hour here on game time. As now getting set to lead off here for the Seattle Mariners will be Julio Rodriguez in bottom of inning number 4, as he'll dig in here against Aaron Nola for the 2nd time tonight. He lined out to shorten his first plate appearance. First pitch here, he'll swing over top of a cutter that came in at just 85 miles an hour, and that'll be strike 1 here against J-Rod. Of Of course, Julio Rodriguez remains the face here of the Mariners along with Cal Raleigh, and last night proved a reminder of how quickly he can alter a game with his home run in the first. As now he swings at a knuckle curve way out of the zone here to fall behind 0-2 to Nola. But overall, his 3-run homer off Zach Wheeler yesterday helped turn that 1-0 Philadelphia lead into a 5-run Seattle first inning. And with that swing, he reached his 20th homer of the year, and that's the 5th consecutive season he's done that in the majors, as he's reached 20 stolen bases as well for a 2020 season. Now the 0-2 from Nola out of the windup. It'll be a sinker in there at the knees, called strike 3 against Julio Rodriguez. And again, the Mariners caught looking on strikes in this game, as that's now the 4th time that Aaron Nola's been able to retire a Mariner looking. So good stuff here from Aaron Nola, who's now up to 5 strikeouts as well on the night, as he joins George Kirby with that number, as now he'll face Josh Naylor with a first pitch cutter that he swings and misses on aggressively and gets behind here in the count 0-1. So 0-1 the count here to Naylor, who struck out in inning number 1 as well. As here comes the next pitch from Nola, pitch number 48. It'll be a half-hearted swing on a fastball out of the zone that's knocked foul down the third base line from Naylor. So he's now down 0-2 in the count here against the Philly starter. So Naylor sitting at 46 RBIs on this campaign. So he's not amongst the 50 RBI club yet, like many Mariners are. So he watches a fastball here miss for a ball on the outer half of the plate. But the Mariners have 5 players with 50 RBIs, and they also have 8 players in the starting lineup with 10-plus home runs, but still struggling in the American League despite all that offense. As the 1-2 here from Naylor is going to be a knuckle curve that he swings at and knocks on the ground, rolling towards second. Charging after it behind the bag is Turner, who's able to fire on over to first for the easy out. 2 away now in inning number 2. They're inning number 4. Good Lord, every time there's 2 outs, I love to say it's inning number 2. That'll have to be a broadcasting crutch I adapt to and solve pretty quickly. I got only my second baseball broadcast here since 2023. If it sounds a little awkward, probably because it slightly is. I'm trying to do a lot here. I'll also call something I haven't really done too much in the last 3 calendar years. As Cal Raleigh stands in here and looks at a knuckle curve that's in there for a ball beneath the knees there, as Raleigh stands in 1-for-1 with his solo home run in the second being the run that tied it for the Mariners. As the 1-0, here's a fastball that drops beneath the knees. It'll be 2-0 to Raleigh, who now is ahead here in a very generous hitters count against Aaron Nola. And overall, in Raleigh's career against Nola, he had not seen him until that first plate appearance tonight where he tagged him for a home run. Here in plate appearance number 2, he watches a 2-0, and it's a changeup that misses outside 3-0 here. And now you got to wonder if Nola's just carefully pitching around Raleigh here and might just be generous enough to walk him with 2 outs here and let him sit on first base. So the 3-0 offering out of the windup. It's a fastball that Raleigh did get the green light to swing at, but he fouled it off behind home plate, so the count moves to 3-1. So all of Raleigh's 4 home runs in this series have been to right field, and the only one that wasn't over 100 degrees exit velo was the one in the 7th inning last night. But overall, all of them to right field, and there's 4 different sections of seats in right field that you could choose to sit in. He hit one to all 4 sections, as now here's going to be a fastball in up at the letters, and it'll be called a ball, it looked like, but immediately the challenge graphic came on, so I didn't get to see what the real call was. But it looks like catcher here Stubbs wants to challenge, and he will successfully challenge, as that call is going to get overturned. So the count will move to 3-2 here with 2 outs against Raleigh. And now it'll be a battle here to see if this inning continues or if we go to the 5th. So Raleigh here digging in with his hottest streak of the season against Nola, pitching his best baseball of the summer. The 3-2 offering well inside. It'll be ball 4. And Raleigh had to dodge out of harm's way there to avoid getting plunked with that ball. And he'll be aboard here with a 2-out walk here in inning number 4. So with that, Cole Young will stand in now for the Mariners. Again, he homered in last night's game after Cal Raleigh knocked his third home run of the night. As overall, Cole Young's one of the young building blocks here in the Mariners organization. Looks to be part of the next great core, as the first pitch he sees is a sinker here up at the letters, but did get the strike zone. So 0-1 the count here as this at-bat gets underway. The former first-round pick, 21st overall by Seattle in 22, Cole Young, debuted in 2025, and tonight he's already becoming a legitimate middle-of-the-order presence as he'll swing at an 0-1 and knock it on the ground to Arez here at second, and he'll field it cleanly and throw on over to first for the out. That ends the inning, and we're through 4 here in Seattle with the top of the lineup coming up for Philadelphia. Schwarber, Turner, and Harper when we come back on USM. More scores from around Major League Baseball here. The White Sox and Rangers in a high-scoring affair. White Sox up 11-7 in the bottom of inning number 8. As overall in that game, the White Sox scored 6 in the bottom of inning number 1. And then it was a 3-run 5th and 6th for the Rangers to claw their way back into this one slightly. But the White Sox here still hanging on, 3 outs away from their 69th win of the campaign. Athletics are up 2-0 here at home against the Minnesota Twins. As all those teams, well, I shouldn't say the Twins, but the Athletics, Rangers, and White Sox will all be featured here coming up on USM at the start of September. Tuesday, September 1st, 7 days from now, the Athletics will visit the Texas Rangers in an AL West matchup. I'll have the call for you for that game at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Thursday, September 3rd, a little matinee from Houston as the Astros host the Chicago White Sox at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be on the call for each of those games in a week from now. So back here at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, 1-1 as we start the top of the 5th here. Jaric Rubel, glad you've joined me here on USM. As T-Mobile Park here, a little broadcast nugget for you. Home of the 2024 NHL Winter Classic as the Seattle Kraken defeated the defending Stanley Cup champion at the time, Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 as goaltender Joey Decord shut things out outdoors here at T-Mobile Park. So George Kirby here back out for inning number 5. First pitch here against Schwarber will be a fastball up high, dangerous, but Schwarber swung and missed. He's behind 0-1. Schwarber swinging and missing quite a bit in this game tonight. As he struck out in the first. So now the 0-1 will be swung on and jammed him at the hands, and he popped it up towards first base. Naylor creeping in towards the infield grass, grabs it over his right shoulder with his right-handed catching glove, and Schwarber starts inning number 5 with a fly out to first. Screen went black there for a second, and I panicked that I was going to lose my feed, but we are all good, and everything is normal as Trey Turner now is set to stand in. The Phillies broadcast here, though, showing Ichiro working with some Mariners and some Phillies in the outfield earlier today, as it looks like Trey Turner was out there learning from him in the outfield as he stands in now, and he's first pitch swinging and hits a tapper right in front of the plate. Raleigh fields it, fires over to first in a hurry, and beats the speedy Trey Turner for out number 2. As just like that, the first 2 batters, Schwarber and Turner, are retired. So the Phillies here have not had a hit since Luis Arraez had that 2-out single back in inning number 3, as we're now 1 batter away from him coming back up. Trey Turner out, Bryce Harper now standing in with 2 outs in the 5th. So Harper now standing in 1 for 2 on the night, as the first pitch from Kirby's a changeup that Harper swings over top of. Looked like he was swinging for the fences, but he ends up missing and goes behind 0-1 in the count. So we get a look here. Ichiro's number 51 retired here in the Ring of Honor, along with Randy Johnson's 51 in Seattle. Of course, Ken Griffey, a part of that as well. As 1-1 the count here too. The right fielder Bryce Harper. As Kirby working out of the windup here. Has a changeup drop in there, but just miss outside. So the count now 2-1. So the Phillies here trying to reclaim the lead. They led 1-0 earlier thanks to Crawford's RBI single. But Raleigh tied it with a homer in the second. Now the 2-1 to Harper is going to be a cutter that he swings at, and it's a chopper back over the mound towards second. Running over the bags, Turner to grab it and fire over to first in time. And the inning is over. That was Young, I should say, who made the play, as I had a Philly on my mind. Apologies, but it was Cole Young who fielded that ball and threw it over to first. As we're through 4.5 here, middle of the fifth inning from Seattle, still tied at 1 here on USM, as coming up to bat will be the Mariners when we return. Bottom of inning number 5 here from Seattle, as the Mariners are set to take their hacks here in inning number 5. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. As these Seattle Mariners having themselves a strange 2026. They won the AL West last year. This is their first division championship in 24 years, and they entered this year with enormous expectations, yet they're sitting 6 games under 500 at 63-69 tonight. They're not completely buried, though, as they're just 3 games out of the AL wildcard and AL West, despite a wildly inconsistent stretch. So can they make a September run? I think this team absolutely can, as maybe that series in Milwaukee getting crushed 22-0 is a wake-up call. Yeah, it happened Sunday 19-2 against the Cubs, as Taylor Ward stands in here and watches a changeup drop in there for a first pitch ball to begin the bottom of inning number 5. But the Mariners overall have started to play better. They walked the Cubs off twice. They won 9-2 last night against a good Phillies team, as the 1-0 from Nola is going to be swung at, a hit back up the middle, but behind the bag at second, Erez to field it, and he makes the easy throw over to Bohm at first to retire Ward for the first out of inning number 5. So Ward is retired here after grounding out to the second baseman Erez, and that'll bring in J.P. Crawford here again for the Seattle Mariners, as I've been talking about potentially their playoff push. And Cal Raleigh said, quote, "This last month will say a lot about us as a group and as a team, as I believe in this group despite the struggles." As the first pitch to Crawford, here's a fastball at the knees. It'll be called a strike, 0-1. The count here to the Mariners' third baseman. But Raleigh said, whatever it's been this year, it creates endurance. And from endurance, you get character. And from character, you get hope. And that's what I see in this group. As the 0-1 here from Nola to J.P. Crawford's a sweeper that cuts inside and off the plate, as it'll be 1-1 the count now. But more on what Cal Raleigh said about this Mariners group. He said, we've endured a lot this year, and we're fighting with everything we've got right now. And I like where the club's at. But with that being said, obviously the job's not finished. And you know we got some work to do. As now a knuckle curve drops in there against Crawford in the dirt. So it falls 2-1. So ahead in the count now is Crawford for Seattle. And Crawford here, again, playing in a meaningful game against his former team, but also his cousin, as Justin Crawford's on the other side, as now Nola delivers here, and Crawford crushes one, but it's going to be hooking foul down the right field line. As he tagged that ball, it would have went to the second deck, but it ended up hooking foul down the right field line and into the corner seats. So 2-2 the count now for Nola against Crawford, as now Nola working out of the windup, fires a fastball that misses outside. The count's now full 3-2 with just one man out here in the bottom of inning number 5. So another full count here for Nola. He's worked about a handful of these now tonight, whether he's had to battle back or the batter battled back, as now the 3-2 offering will be fouled off. A fastball goes into the behind the third base dugout into the seats, as we'll try this again here. 3-2 the count. So with that swing Crawford put on earlier, it looked like he was trying to hit it to the Hit It Here Cafe out in right field, as he had enough trajectory on it that it would have flew all the way. As the 3-2 offering to him is going to be slapped on the ground to right. Fair is the call, and fielding it's Bohm, who takes it over to the first base bag himself. And there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. So with 2 outs now after that ground out to the first baseman, Brock Rodden will stand back in for the Mariners. He grounded out to second in his first plate appearance, as the left-handed hitter will stand back in. Overall on the campaign, he's hitting .214, and he's still searching for his first career home run, as he's yet to hit a big fly here in the big leagues. So the first pitch offering from Nola, it'll be a knuckle curve that drops in there on the inner part of the plate. 0-1 the count, as Rodden will dig back in here. Again, hitting from the left-handed side of the plate, has those shiny navy blue batting gloves and repping the knee-high socks, as Nola delivers, and a fastball overpowers him as Rodden swings over that one, and he's behind in the count. 0-2 here with 2 away. So Nola here working towards punch-out number 6 in the contest, as we'll see if he's able to end the inning here against Rodden with that, as he's still working out of the windup, having not allowed a base runner this inning. The 0-2, it'll be a fastball up high that misses. It'll be a 1-2 count now, as Aaron Nola still trying to keep his command intact, as his changeup usage has been great, as we'll see if he gets Rodden here to swing over top of 1. As now he gets working, looks like he has the changeup grip intact, and it'll in fact be one that drops down into the dirt, though, as the count moves to 2-2. So Rodden here staying alive, as he's seen 2 balls now here after being behind in the count. 0-2. As with 2 away and 3 seconds left on the pitch clock, Nola has to hurry as he fires towards home. It's a fastball up high. The cut fastball misses, and it's now a full count yet again. So Nola working another 3-2 count here, as he's now up to 73 pitches with this next one. In the bottom of inning number 5 here with 2 away. Still no look in the bullpen if there's any work going on for the Phillies, as a knuckle curve's dropped in there, a check swing's had, and the call down to third is ruled that he did not go, and it'll be a 2-out walk here for Brock Rodden. So he reaches first base here, the first base runner the Mariners have had since the second inning, when Cal Raleigh was able to get the Mariners on the board. But since that Raleigh home run, this is the first base runner they've had. As on a base on balls, Rodden steps on first, and Arozarena stands in with 2 away, and the first pitch is a knuckle curve that's in at the knees for a strike. So 0-1 the count here to Randy. Now Randy Arozarena, of course, standing in as he's trying to do some damage here with 2 outs, as a changeup here will drop beneath the strike zone. That'll miss for a ball. 1-1 now the count to Arozarena, as Arozarena has 58 RBIs on the season. Yesterday, he walked 3 times in that win for Seattle against these Phillies, as he's 0 for 2 tonight, as he's flown out and grounded out. Now the 1-1 offering will be tapped foul, as he reached for a knuckle curve out of the strike zone and tapped it down the third base line. Count now moves to 1-2. So Arozarena here, trying to get his first hit since the Cubs series, as he had a heck of a series against the Chicago Cubs in which he hit 2 homers on Saturday, a leadoff homer on the first pitch and a walk-off homer to seal the victory for Seattle on Friday. But if you thought that happened before, it did, because just a week ago, Pete Crow Armstrong did that same exact thing against the White Sox 8 days ago. So the 1-2 here to Arozarena from Nola. Out of the stretch, it's a fastball up at the letters that misses. The count 2-2 now with 2 outs and a runner on first for Randy Arozarena. And in that series against the Cubs, too, Arozarena robbed a homer defensively before walking off Chicago. He's the kind of player that can affect a game any night. He's in the lineup, but he swings over top of that dangerous changeup from Nola there as he gets his 6th punch out of the game and ends inning number 5 tonight. Still 1-1 between the Phillies and Mariners. Nola's only allowed 1 hit. It was the Raleigh home run. Arez, Bohm, and Stott due up for the Phils to begin the 6th when we return on USM. Back here in the Pacific Northwest at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Still 1-1 Phillies and Mariners. Jaric Rubel, glad you are with me on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, trying to get back into the broadcast swing of things as we get ready here for football and hockey season to begin as well. As I mentioned, the Winter Classic in 2024 being hosted here in Seattle, where the Kraken defeated the Golden Knights. We're just a month away and 4 days from NHL season, and on that opening night, you'll catch a pair of games here. Matt will have the Cats and the Canes, Florida and Carolina, to kick off the game, or kick off the night, and then we'll also have the Canadians and Maple Leafs with yours truly. Opening night in the NHL, just 35 days away. So Arez stands in here to lead things off for the Phillies. He'll watch a ball go by him to begin this at-bat, as Kirby here with 61 pitches now on the ensuing pitch, but now Raleigh's going to call time and jog on out to the mound here, as he knows Arez is going to be a tough out, as Luis has already gotten the board once in this game with a 2-out single in the 3rd. He flew out, though, to right at the warning track in inning number 1. Almost had a home run, as a great catch was made by Canzone at the right field wall, as he had to make a leaping grab. Not sure if it would have left the yard, as I think it would have hit the top yellow part of the right field wall, but still an impressive catch from Canzone to rob Arez from extra bases at the very least. So Kirby in the 4th and 5th, 9 pitches in the 4th, 5th in the 7th, as he's been pitching for contact and making it work. As we'll see what happens here with Arez now standing in with a 1-0 count, and Luis looks at a fastball at the letters, get called for a strike, as Kirby now evens the count up at 1-1. And again, Kirby here trying his best here to go as deep as he can in this game, as his 1-1 to Arez is low and inside and sliced at, and it's down the left field line, and Arozarena creeping in will make the catch, moving to his right, as Arez is retired, and there's 1 away here in inning number 6. So Arez there flies out to left field, and that'll bring in Alex Bohm, who's 0 for 1 tonight. He walked, though, back in inning number 3, as he's now standing in here looking to do some damage against George Kirby the 3rd time around the order. Kirby looks and fires that first pitch. It's a low changeup that's called a strike. Looked like it might have missed the zone, but it was called by umpire Brian Walsh nonetheless. And Kirby is ahead in the count 0-1. Working out of that windup, both feet planted on the rubber, as now he works out of the windup and fires a four-seamer that's fouled off by Bowman. That hit him on the inside part of the knee, and he has to shake that one off, as that one was a little bit of a stinger, as he's behind 0-2 now in this count. So Bohm having to walk this off as he prances back around the on-deck circle near the third base dugout, the Phillies dugout, as it doesn't seem to be traditional anymore to have the road team on the first base side and the home team on the third base side. All these ballparks and the clubs are different. Some home teams are on the first base side, some are on third. In this case, the home team's on the first base side in Seattle. So Bohm back in there, the 0-2. It's a knuckle curve fouled off right off the heel of the right foot this time, as Bohm now walks around the batter's box again, as he's now fouled 2 foul balls right off his lower part of his body, as now he waits for Kirby to stand back in now, who takes the glove off his hand, as it appears Bohm has asked for time to kind of get himself situated, as now the pitch clock's back up and it's down to 10 seconds. As Kirby awaits the sign from Raleigh, he gets it, and now works out of the windup and fires a fastball on the outer half of the plate that gets Bohm to swing and miss, and Kirby now has his 6th strikeout of the game, as down on strikes goes Bohm. So Bohm down on strikes. Stott will come back in. He's the only Philly to come across home plate tonight, as he scored on the Justin Crawford RBI single. And on his next plate appearance, he struck out swinging, as now he'll get his 3rd plate appearance here in innings number 6, as Kirby fires a cutter that's up there at the letters, missing for a ball, 1-0 the count. As I reset the ball strike count here, as I'm trying to keep up to date with the scoreboard. I got a scoreboard. I'm writing stuff down here. Get this up, writing stuff down on here, operating the scoreboard, calling the game, trying to keep up with everything, as I think I'm not doing too shabby. I don't have all the help in the world, but I'm staying pretty organized, and for the 2nd time in 3 years, I think I'm doing all right. We're only going to get better as the season goes on. But 1-1 now, the count to Stott, as he fouled that last pitch off, as now the ensuing one's going to be a cutter that jammed him inside. He swung nonetheless, and it popped up in the air and went foul out of play about 9 rows behind the first base dugout. So 1-2 now, the count, with 2 outs to Bryson Stott. As Stott here trying to get some base runners on for the Phillies, as they've yet to have a base runner since the 3rd inning when Bohm reached on a walk. But since then, Kirby and Nola have been doing shutdown work, as the 1-2 offering here from Kirby's a changeup swung over the top of and missed by Stott, as he's down on strikes. Kirby gets strikeout number 7, as that sends this game now to the bottom of inning number 6, still deadlocked at 1 run apiece, each team scoring in the 2nd. We'll see what the back half of this game has to give when we return. Back here at beautiful T-Mobile Park here in Seattle, just next door to Lumen Field, home of the Seattle Seahawks, as they'll host the New England Patriots in the NFL season opener. That'll come your way Wednesday, September 9th, right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Matthew Owens has all the action for you live here from Seattle in just a week, or about 2 weeks' time. So bottom of the sixth here, as Canzone set the stand in for the Mariners. Sees a first pitch drop below the knees for a ball, as he's ahead in the count here early against Nola, who's back out there in the bottom of the sixth, allowing just one hit so far tonight. It was the solo home run to Cal Raleigh, as now he gets Canzone to swing and miss at a changeup well out of the zone, as the count now even at 1-1. So Canzone with a walk and a first with a stolen base, and he also struck out in inning number 3. The 1-1 offering. It's going to be slapped and hit on a fly towards right field. Tracking back after it's Harper, just shy of the warning track in right, making the catch as he's able to grab that ball at letter height. And with that, there's one away here in inning number 6. So J-Rod steps back in now for the Seattle Mariners. He lined out to shortstop in the first. He struck out back in inning number 4. And we'll see what he's got to offer here in inning number 6. See if he has a encore for the 3-run homer he had yesterday. He's first pitch swinging here against Nola. It's hit right back up the middle, but getting towards it at the hole, it's short as Turner. But he could not fire it across the back, damned in time for the out, as Julio Rodriguez is aboard here with an infield single with one away. So Julio reaches base here, the first base runner the Mariners have had this entire game, or I should say from a hit, as there's the first base runner sends Rodden's walk last inning, and Raleigh walked as well in the 4th, but the first proper hit the Mariners have had tonight, as it was a home run by Raleigh that did not allow him to be on the base pads back in inning number 2. So now with a runner on first, Naylor stands in here and watches a first pitch knuckle curve miss outside for a ball. So 1-0 the count now to the first baseman for Seattle. Hitting .270 on the year with 10 home runs. As now Nola working out of the stretch, fires a knuckle curve that missed low and inside. 2-0 now the count. And we'll see if the Mariners here could perhaps get some damage going against Nola with a runner at first and the power part of the order coming up, as we have Naylor up to bat now, Raleigh after him, and Cole Young, who's been swinging the bat well following Raleigh. So an opportunity here in Seattle for the M's to get something going. With 1 on and a 2-0 count, Naylor watches a cutter get in there as he grimaces, as he knew he could have swung and perhaps drove that pitch, but instead he watches it get called for a strike, and the count is 2-1. So Naylor at 5'10" and 235 pounds doesn't look like a conventional base stealing threat, though if he gets on, he can be, as he could hustle. As now, speaking of base stealing, Nola throws on over to first in a pickoff attempt as Rodriguez dives back in headfirst safely. So that's the first pickoff move we've seen this entire game. There is yet to be a runner that's been, on base technically for them to try and pick off, as we haven't had too many to work with in this contest. As the 2-1 here to Naylor will be a knuckle curve that misses on the outer half of the plate, just missing, as the count now moves to 3-1 in favor here of Naylor. The Mariners fans start to applaud as they see this hitter's count here in favor of Josh Naylor, as now here's Nola working out of the stretch, but Naylor's going to call for time here now. And now Nola will step off the rubber himself and play with his chain that he has around his neck, as he now gets situated in a high leverage situation here. Runner on first, Naylor at the plate, ahead 3-1 in the count, and Cal Raleigh on deck, having homered off you already. The 3-1 swung on and missed by Naylor as runners going, throw down to second, not going to be in time, as Julio Rodriguez is able to steal second base, as he's now in scoring position here with the count full 3-2 with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. So now Naylor's mentality here is just going to be trying to hit anything to the outfield. And if it gets down, it'll likely score Rodriguez. And at worst, perhaps just a sac fly can move him over to third base. As Nola here with 88 pitches on this next one, approaching 90 on the night, as he's working out of the stretch. Takes a look back towards second. Now fires one, and it's hit right back up the middle by Naylor. That ball's down, and we'll see if they send him. Coming around third's J-Rod. He will score as he slides in safely. Throw back to second. Naylor's tagged, and he's out. And he immediately says, nope, we're going to review that, and he points towards the dugout. And with that, it looks like Naylor will perhaps be in safely at second. But nonetheless, it'll be an RBI single at the very least for him, as the Mariners have taken a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the sixth. And indeed, manager Dan Wilson says he's going to challenge here for the Mariners. So we'll see here what the call is on the field, Naylor was ruled out at second, but we'll see if he's going to be safe or not pending this review. So Naylor hit that ball back up the middle. It got down into center field. Rodriguez was able to come around and score as the throw was late, but they fired back to second, and the second base umpire said that Naylor was tagged, and that might have been the right call. As we get another look here at the replay, it looked like he got him on the back part of his left thigh, but we've only gotten one replay here, as we have not gotten another look at to where the tag was. So we'll see here if this challenge by manager Dan Wilson will be the correct one. Josh Naylor says right away he should have challenged, and that's exactly what he did. So now we'll see what the umpires say and what they say back in New York. But even if Naylor's out, the Mariners will have still taken a 2-1 lead, as Naylor with an RBI single then, if he's ruled out, will be what the scorers rule it. Now another look here at the replay, and when this ball comes in, the angle we're getting at shows the tag behind Naylor as the camera angle's coming from center field. If I could get a look at the camera from behind home plate, it would be a better look, but it looks like we have our decision made and Naylor's out. So the call does in fact stand. Naylor's gunned out at second, trying to leg it into a double, but he does get the run to score. So an RBI single for Naylor will give the Mariners here a 2-1 lead in the sixth. So that'll bring Cal Raleigh now to the plate with the Mariners in front, but no base runners. As of course, as I mentioned, Naylor was ruled out, so he's done at second. And now with 2 out, nobody on, here comes Cal Raleigh with the Mariners up 2-1. And Raleigh with that solo home run in the second is 4th in 5 plate appearances, as the first pitch to him from Noel is a sinker that's called for a strike on the inner part of the plate. Raleigh wasn't sure about it, but he discusses with home plate umpire Brian Walsh and seemingly is okay with it. So now he stands back in. Noel steps back on the rubber as well with his back foot on the left side of the mound. And he works out of the windup and fires a fastball that almost clipped Raleigh upstairs in the hands as he went to swing, and that was a high heat fastball that almost hit the knob of the barrel, but Raleigh able to get out of the way there in time to avoid any contact. So the count now moves to 1-1 as Nola here works out of the windup again, fires, and Raleigh swings and misses at a cut fastball on the inner lower part of the plate as he's behind now 1-2. But the Mariners here with a 2-1 lead now in the bottom of inning number 6 as they lead the Phillies now here as we approach the late stages of this game thanks to an RBI single from Josh Naylor. Raleigh here standing in a 1-2 count. Nola delivers, and he gets him swinging with a knuckle curve. Down on strikes goes Raleigh, and that will conclude matters here in the 6th. To the 7th we go. The Phillies now trailing in this game for the first time tonight as the Mariners take a 2-1 lead on Josh Naylor's RBI single. Back in a moment for the top of the 7th. back in Seattle, where the Mariners now have a 2-1 lead at home over the Philadelphia Phillies. My name is Jaric Rubel. Glad to have you with me on USM for the second baseball broadcast of the year for me. Again, I'll be back with you a week from tonight. It'll be a game in Texas as the Rangers will host the Athletics in a game that is big for the Texas Rangers as they are battling with the Seattle Mariners for the AL West crown or perhaps a final wild card spot in the American League. That'll get underway at 8 Eastern next Tuesday. But for this game right now, Brandon Marshall stepped back in for the Phillies as they trail 2-1 now in the 7th inning as Josh Naylor had a 1-out RBI single score Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners in the bottom of the 6th, and that's where we stand right now. With Marsh digging in, he was able to single in the 1st, but struck out in the 4th. As George Kirby's back out here for his 7th inning of work. He's had a terrific performance out here on the mound tonight, as he's only allowed 5 hits. He struck out 6, and he is still out there for another inning of work for the M's. So he'll see Marsh for the 3rd time tonight, and his first pitch will be a sinker that misses up high for a ball. 1-0 to the Phillies left fielder. As a little bit of this day in baseball history, I'll bring to you here after this next pitch. As the 1-0 here to Brandon Marsh from Kirby will be a changeup that's swung at and chopped foul down the first base line. As here's a little Phillies history here for you on this August 25th. On this date, back in 1922, Philadelphia was part of a game at Wrigley Field that still holds a rather remarkable distinction. As the 1-1 here from Kirby, who's working out of the windup against Marsh, will be a fastball up and in. The count now moves to 2-1. As the Cubs beat the Phillies in that afternoon contest by a final of 26-23, 49 combined runs. It was the highest scoring game in modern Major League history. As the 2-1 from Kirby to Marsh is a cutter that's called a strike on the outer half of the plate. It's now even at 2. As in that game, believe it or not, the Cubs led 25-6 after 4 innings, and the Phillies scored 17 runs the rest of the way to battle back. As the 2-2 here to Marsh is swung and hit on the ground to second, fielded nicely by Young, who tosses over to Naylor at first. And there's the first out here of inning number 7. But the Phillies ended up getting that game close as they brought the potential tying run to the plate in the 9th. So if things ended up getting a little crazy tonight, we could have had that little nugget to look forward to, but here we are in a pitcher's duel tonight, 104 years later to the day. 2-1, Seattle leading it at home over the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Delighted to have you with me tonight on USM as Justin Crawford stands in and he's first pitch swinging and popping that up behind the third base line for Crawford to come over to foul ground and make the catch battle in the sun or the stadium lights here at T-Mobile Park as he's able to make the catch for out number 2 here in the top of the 7th. So we'll see if Nola comes out for another inning of work for the Phillies or if that'll be all for him. But if that's it, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned with 7 strikeouts and 3 walks would be his stat line. As now with 2 outs, Stubbs stands in and he's looking a bunt here with 2 outs and he misses that bunt as the count is 0-1 to him. As he's 0 for 2 tonight, Stubbs is flying out and grounding out. Back in inning number 1, flying out with that interesting contact down the left field line. Rosarena had to make a nice catch. As now a knuckle curve here delivered by Kirby got him to swing over top of it. And it's now 0-2. As now in the Mariners bullpen, Jose A. Ferrer starting to get loose. The left-hander wearing number 45 in white. Starting to get loose, and that'll wonder if perhaps JT Realmuto might replace one of these lefties in the lineup, and a double switch could be happening, as now the 0-2 from Kirby to Stubbs will be a high heat fastball swung on and missed. That'll do it for the bottom half, or I should say the top half of inning number 7, as Kirby with another strikeout, now up to 7 on the game, allows us to stretch here from T-Mobile Park, as we'll be back here for the bottom of the 7th in a moment on USM. A reminder here on USM that college football returns this Saturday with NC State taking on Virginia at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then the following week, it'll be officially week 1 as Colorado will take on Georgia Tech on Thursday, September 3rd at 8 Eastern. Then Friday night football, Miami at Stanford at 9 Eastern. Then Saturday afternoon, Boise State at Oregon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. All will be brought to you by Seth Eves on the call. Then Saturday night primetime, Clemson at LSU with Matthew Owen. Seth will be in the studio with them at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. College football is back here on USM. Jaric Rubel back with you here on the broadcast. Mariners up 2-1 here with their chance in the bottom of the 7th. And leading things off will be Cole Young. He's 0 for 2 tonight, flying out and grounding out. As we'll see what he could do here standing in against the new pitcher for Philadelphia, as it'll be Orion Kirkering standing in here for the Phils now. As this season out of the bullpen for him, it's 52nd inning of work. He has an ERA of 3.53. And he struck out overall 55 batters this campaign. He's also allowed 26 walks as well, so control could be a bit of an issue for him. As the first pitch ball here is going to be challenged by Stubbs, and he's going to end up being right on that challenge, so it'll revert to 0-1 here against Cole Young. And Kirkering working quick here will throw a sweeper in there again at the knees. It'll fall to 0-2 for Young here against the Phillies reliever. So Kirkering's season been somewhat unusual as he's been excellent in many innings, but as I mentioned, he's also been a bit erratic at times as well. As the 0-2 is going to be swung on by Young and tapped on the ground to second, Erez will field that cleanly and hustle a throw over to first for the first out of the bottom of inning number 7. So Young there with the ground out to Erez. That'll bring up Taylor Ward back to the plate. He grounded out to Erez in his last plate appearance in inning number 5. See what he could do here against Orion Kirkering. One of the younger arms in this Phillies bullpen, as his sinker came in there at the hands against Ward but didn't hit him. So the count 1-0 here against the designated hitter for Seattle. But Philadelphia here, they've trusted Kirkering with a significant workload. He's thrown 51 innings this year with 55 strikeouts, giving the Phillies a legitimate swing and a miss option out of the bullpen. And here he is firing a four-seam fastball low and away for a called strike, evening the count at 1-1 against Taylor Ward. Kirkering working quickly out of the stretch, fires again. This one will hit Ward. That one get him in on the forearm, and that will send him aboard to first base with a one-out hit by pitch. So Ward's aboard here. A little bit of erraticness for Kirkering out of the bullpen here now, as he'll have the second man of the inning on, as that one looked like it might have grazed more so the jersey than it did get the arm of Taylor Ward, but nonetheless, he's aboard. And J.P. Crawford will stand back in. Almost tagged a home run last time he came up, but it went foul as he watches a four-seam fastball miss high and away here for the first ball. As Crawford's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a groundout, his first game back in the lineup after being on the injured list for over 10 days. The next pitch, the 1-0 is in there for a strike. Crawford thinking about challenging, won't, as a fastball is in on the lower part of the plate inside. That evens the count at 1-1. So now Brooks Raley getting loose, the southpaw in the Phillies bullpen, as Kirkering fires a four-seam fastball up and in that just missed the strike zone. Almost clipped it, but called a ball. And 2-1 now the count to J.P. Crawford. Kirkering again working quickly out of the stretch. Fires it. A bunt's placed down by Crawford, but it's going to roll foul as it ends up going behind the left-handed batter's box there. As the count now moves to 2-2 with a runner aboard with one out. And Taylor Ward reaching on that hit by pitch last plate appearance. If you're just now joining us, the Mariners only have 2 hits in this game. It was a home run by Cal Raleigh in the second. And then 3 hits. And then Julio Rodriguez and Josh Naylor were able to generate some offense in the 6th, where Naylor was able to get an RBI single that allowed Rodriguez to come around and score. So the 2-2 to Crawford from Kirkering. A cutter that swung out and hit back up the middle. It'll be a base hit for Crawford. Coming around and headed for third is Ward. He'll be in there standing. And the Mariners have him at the quarters here with one away in the bottom of the 7th. So J.P. Crawford there, nice piece of hitting. It's his first hit of the game, though he could have two as he had good contact in that last plate appearance, just couldn't get it through into the outfield or keep that home run distance ball fair. But this time through, he's able to knock one past the bag at second and get aboard here with a 1-out single and move Ward over to third. So now it'll bring in Brock Rodden, the shortstop, but first things first, the pitching coach for Philadelphia, Caleb Cotham, will come on out to the mound here and talk things over with Orion Kirkering. As this pitching coach here, Caleb Cotham, is a been a Philadelphia pitching coach since 2021. He previously worked with the Reds. He was a former pitcher himself, as I would imagine he would have been. A fifth-round draft pick of the Yankees out of Vanderbilt. Made 35 major league appearances with the Yankees and the Reds. Particularly known for blending his analytics, pitch design, and individualized game planning all into one. So he just had a brief discussion here with Kirkering and the catcher Garrett Stubbs on the mound, with runners at the corners and one away here for the Mariners in the bottom of the seventh. It'll be their shortstop Brock Rodden standing in. The rookie 0 for 1 tonight. He walked back in inning number 5, hitting .207 on the season. He's going to look to bunt here on the first pitch, but pulls back and pulled back in time, as it'll be a ball here to start the at-bat on a fastball away out of the zone. So Kirkering here, slowing down his pace between pitches a little bit. Could imagine that's what pitching coach Caleb Cotham talked to him about. He was just working too quick out there. Take some time to breathe. But now here's the 1-0, and another bunt's going to be attempted to be laid down by Rodden, but it rolls foul down the third base line, so that'll even the count up here at 1-1, as the Mariners perhaps looking to try a suicide squeeze with Ward over at third base, try and get that insurance run here late in the ball game. We're here in the bottom of the 7th inning, remember, here at T-Mobile Park, formerly known as Safeco Field, as the 1-1 from Kirkering, a bouncing fastball in the dirt, but good stop there at the chest protector by Stubbs to keep it in front of him, as the count now is 2-1 and the runners stay put at the corners. So good stuff by Stubbs in behind, as again, he's in this game strictly for his defense and his mound visits, all that stuff, as that's been a big factor here in this bottom of the 7th. So the 2-1 now from Kirkering, offering here against Rodden, but a fastball will miss high, 97 miles per hour up near the shoulders. But it was over the plate, just way too high, as the count now is 3-1 here against Rodden for Kirkering. He gets set and fires and misses a fastball up high. Ball 4, the bags are now loaded, as now with that walk, the count, or I should say the lineup card, turns over to Randy Arozarena, and it's the second walk of the game here for Brock Rodden, and the runners move to Crawford, I should say, moves to second, and Taylor Ward will stay put at third. And it looks like the Phillies are going to stay put at the moment with Kirkering on the mound and Arozarena at the plate with the bases loaded in the 7th. First pitch will be a sweeper that's right down the middle at 88 miles per hour. It'll be a strike here to Randy, as with the bases loaded in his career, 269 with 3 grand slams, 64 ribbies, as he's down 0-1 here against Kirkering. The 0-1 out of the stretch is another sweeper, this time missing low and out of the zone. The count now even at 1-1. So the Mariners here with an opportunity to blow things open here against the Phillies in the bottom of the 7th. As Kirkering, a long pause, awaits the sign, gets it. Now out of the stretch, fires, and that's going to be a swing and a foul ball behind home plate it goes, as Arozarena knocked that ball up near the broadcast booth behind home plate. See if anybody had a play on that one, so I'm not sure they did. At 1-2 now the count to Arozarena. Bags loaded, the pitch from Kirkering. It'll be swung at and popped in the air to right field behind the first base line. Charging after it's the second baseman, Arez, who's able to make the catch, and he fires right to home. The runner stays put, though, at third, as a great play moving to his left into foul territory behind the first base bag was Luis Arez, the second baseman, able to make that catch. And there's 2 away here now, as Arozarena was unfortunately for his case, flies out to Arez. So now that'll bring up Dominic Canzone, the right fielder, as he flew out to right field in his last plate appearance. As it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here in Seattle as the bullpen will be called yet again by the Phillies, as Don Mattingly's going to go to his southpaw out of the bullpen. Brooks Raley to the mound when we return here on a Tuesday night from Seattle, live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Back in Seattle as the Phillies have made a pitching change. Brooks Raley's now on for the Phils. 7 innings of work this season as he's struck out 9 batters through 7 innings, an ERA of 2.23 through 53 games this season. Not sure where I got that 7 innings pitch from. My apologies. I read the numbers wrong as he's got 7 base on balls. So Dominic Canzone now up to the plate for the Phillies, for the Mariners, with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th. As now the first pitch here from Raley's going to miss outside for a ball. So with that, the next offering will be a sweeper that gets the upper part of the plate. Canzone doesn't like that, but the call's made. The count moves to 1-1 now, as Raley's working quick here out of the windup with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th and 2 outs. Here's the next pitch. It's going to be swung out and blooped into left field. That ball's down, and that's going to score 2. Around to scores Ward, and following suits J.P. Crawford, and the Mariners get a 2-out RBI single from Dominic Canzone, and they extend their lead to 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th. So nice piece of hitting from Dominic Canzone. Just got the hands around and turned that ball the opposite field as he got over the glove of the shortstop there, Trey Turner, and that was able to score both Ward and J.P. Crawford, as a 2-out base knock there gets a pair of insurance runs home for the Mariners, who now lead it 7-1 here in the bottom of inning number 7. So Raley on just 3 pitches has now allowed 2 runs, though neither of them are because of him, as those are not earned runs, as they were responsible because of Orion Kirkering, who will also get called for those, so he could add 2 earned runs to his total, as J-Rod stands in now for the Mariners and looks at a strike behind 0-1 here against Raley. Raley quickly working out of the stretch, fired a sweeper that missed at the knees, evening the count now at 1-1, as he now quickly gets the ball back and places his left foot on the left side of the rubber with his front toe near the edge of that piece of rubber, and quickly works out of the stretch and threw one inside. It almost clipped J-Rod on the hands, but it ended up being caught by Stubbs behind the plate and ruled the ball. 2-1 now the count, with again runners at the corner and 2 away. Mariners up 4-1 here at home. The 2-1 from Raley, a sweeper that missed on the outer half of the plate. 3-1 now. The count to Julio Rodriguez. So Julio here with 3 RBIs yesterday, trying to add another to his tally here in this series, as the 3-1 offering is going to be swung at and hit in the air. Is it playable near the first base dugout? It isn't. Falling backwards as Bohm as he lost his balance, but he makes the catch while falling backwards and kind of leaning to his right as he's able to make a tough catch for the out. And the Phillies give up 2 in that inning to the Mariners as an RBI single by Dominic Canzone scored Taylor Ward and J.P. Crawford. And with that, the Phillies have some work to do now as we head to inning number 8. Schwarber will lead things off for the Phils when we return. You're listening to Tuesday Night Baseball with Jaric Rubel right here on USM. Jaric Rubel back with you here on USM. And a reminder, baseball's not done for the week on the channel. Matthew Owens has the game Friday for you. It's the Dodgers and the Tigers from Comerica Park. That'll get underway at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Sunday, mid-afternoon, he'll have the Red Sox and Yankees from Yankee Stadium. That'll come your way at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And a big rivalry matchup between two AL West foes that are trying to catch the Tampa Bay Rays for the top spot. So in the NL East, however, the Philadelphia Phillies sitting in second in their division behind the Atlanta Braves, looking to avoid losing 2 in a row here after winning 9 straight. Schwarber stands in here and watches a ball for the start here of the top of inning number 8. George Kirby still on the mound as he gets Schwarber to swing and miss here at a fastball. 1-1 now. The count to him as George Kirby's had himself one heck of a night here on the bump tonight for Seattle as he's been dominant on the hill as his next pitch to Schwarber's a fastball that he just watches for a strike as now the count's even at, or I should say count is ahead in favor of Kirby at 1-2. So Kirby here, methodically working out of the windup, gets set and fires in a changeup, just misses on the outer half for a ball, but Cal Raleigh wants to challenge. So challenge he will indeed, and we'll see what the call ends up being. But overall, the stat line for George Kirby tonight, through 7 innings, he's allowed 5 hits, just 1 earned run allowed, 9 strikeouts, and 1 walk. So Kirby here, looking for his 10th punch out of the game here. As though that pitch was overturned, it's now a ball. So 2-2 the count to Schwarber as Kirby looks to put him away on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. And he'll do just that, overpowering a fastball past him. And Schwarber goes down on strikes. My apologies, for the 2nd time in this game tonight. George Kirby now up to 10 strikeouts on the night as he's been dominant on the hill for the M's. And he's now up into double digits in terms of strikeouts. So Schwarber down on strikes. That'll bring Trey Turner to the plate with 1 away, and he'll watch a first pitch sweeper that ends up missing on the outer part of the plate. 1-0 the count now to the shortstop for Philadelphia. 0 for 3, struck out, fouled out, and grounded out in this contest so far. As Kirby here works out of the windup once more, fires a fastball that Turner swings on and puts a charge into one into center field, but charging in after it will be Rodriguez, who makes the catch before it lands in front of him, and there's 2 away here in inning number 8. So Turner there with a fly out to center. That'll bring Bryce Harper up to the plate. His 27-game on-base streak is intact as he singled in the first, so that'll live to see another day. But since then, he's flown out, grounded out. Or I should say he's grounded out and struck out here against George Kirby. As now Kirby drops a knuckle curve in there for a first pitch strike. He's ahead 0-1 here against the Las Vegas native Bryce Harper, as Harper quickly digs right back in and looks focused and ready. Kirby is as well as he fires the next pitch. Harper swings and misses at some high heat, 99 miles per hour at the letters. And Harper fans on that and is behind 0-2. And the Phillies bullpen getting warmed up is Jonathan Bolin, as he's a crucial setup guy for the Phillies, but he's not much of a setup role here tonight. Just looking to get some work in here and keep his team in it. As Kirby here misses with a sinker that drops into the dirt, so the count now 1-2 against Bryce Harper. As this next pitch will be Kirby's 90th of the game in just his 8th inning of work. Efficient stuff on the mound tonight from number 68 in white. He had a rough last couple of starts as his 1-2 to Harper's up high and inside. Now count moves to 2-2. But overall, the last few starts for Kirby have not been great, as he's looking for his first win in his last 5 starts. He hasn't won a game since July the 20th, as his 2-2 to Harper will be fouled off behind the third base dugout. We'll do it again here against Bryce. So Kirby gets a new ball here from the umpire. Harper digs back in, wearing a ton of jewelry on his neck, a couple of silver chains, and another sort of necklace that I can't fully describe, as the 2-2 offering from Kirby is going to be a knuckle curve swung on and a base hit right back up the middle. Harper's going to reach with a 2-out knock, as he's aboard here with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. So it's his second hit of the game, as he's aboard there with that single, and that'll bring up Luis Arraez now, who's going to give the Phillies, in my opinion, a good opportunity to perhaps bring the tying run to the plate, as Arraez going to hit for contact and try and get aboard. But it looks like now manager Dan Wilson's going to call it a night for George Kirby, as after 7 2/3 of work, he's now going to complain here to manager Dan Wilson, saying he doesn't want to come out of the game, but he will in fact come out, and he'll get a standing ovation here from the crowd in T-Mobile Arena, as it was a terrific night of work for George Kirby, as his stat line for the night. Bring it to you here for the Mariners. Through 7 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts for Kirby, as he has been tremendous for the M's in this game. He'll see the dugout, though, for the rest of it. Is coming on to pitch when we return will be Jose A. Ferrer, as the Mariners look to stay in front 4-1 here with 4 outs remaining in this one. On the pitch for the Mariners will be Jose A. Ferrer. 59 games this year, 4-2 record, 3.64 ERA, has 12 holds, and his opponent batting average is .273. So we'll see what he could do here for the Mariners with his team up 4-1 after George Kirby's terrific outing after pitching 7 2/3 innings, striking out 10, allowing 6 hits, as he's done his part. And now it's time for the Mariners bullpen to back him up. A runner on first with 2 outs. Bryce Harper's on first. Luis Arraez at the plate, as he had no intentions of swinging at that first pitch sinker that's in there for a strike, as the count's 0-1 against the contact hitting second baseman for Philadelphia. And again, Arraez only 4 strikeouts total this season, as he does not go down on strikes often. He'll swing at this next pitch, and a diving play made moving to his left as Crawford at third, as he picked that one and made a nice throw over to first for the out. And that will end the inning here in inning number 8. The Mariners will come up to bat potentially for the last time in the bottom half of the 8th. We'll see what they could do. Up 3, it'll be Naylor, Raleigh, and Young when we return on USM. Bottom of inning number 8 now is Jonathan Boland's on the mound for the Phillies. 2.89 ERA for him this season as he's first pitching out to Naylor. And Naylor hacks that one, but it's fouled down the first baseline, so the count 0-1 here to Naylor, the first baseman for Seattle, as he struck out but also had an RBI single in the 6th that would hold as the winning RBI as it stands right now if the Phillies don't score again. As Boland here working out of the stretch, fires towards home, and a pitch will be down there and called a ball. That was close, but ruled the ball from home umpire Brian Walsh. As overall this season for Philadelphia, Boland has a 2.89 ERA through 46 2/3 innings pitched, as Naylor here fouls one off behind the third baseline, and it gets almost out of play as it goes off the meshing. As we'll try this again at 1-2. As we look here at Boland's summary here on the season as to who he is. Boland has quietly become one of the more important pieces of this Phillies bullpen. They needed somebody to step into meaningful spots late in games before Duran takes the mound, especially when in front. And Boland has earned his place as that guy. As this 1-2 count here to Naylor will be offered and it's chopped at down the left field line. Moving after it is Marsh, and he'll collect it for out number 1. So Marsh, they're able to record out number 1 of the 8th, as now that'll bring up Cal Raleigh back to the plate, as he homered in the 1st, walked in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th. Raleigh looking for potentially his 5th home run of the series, as he's trying to help lead this Mariners team to the postseason and get back in the playoff mix. 3 games back of both the wild card and the division, as the first pitch to him will be high and outside for a ball. 1-0. The count to the catcher for Seattle. And Jonathan Boland, though, emerging as one of Philadelphia's biggest bullpen developments, as earlier this summer he posted a 2.94 ERA with 39 strikeouts through 33.5 innings. Now here we are about 15 innings later, and his ERA is at 2.89 as he misses low and outside there for a ball. 2-0 now to Cal Raleigh. A long pause here on the mound by Boland as Raleigh gets prepared, and the pitch, it'll be a fastball swung at but fouled off behind home plate. So Raleigh here gets his first strike against him in the at-bat. The count now 2-1. Again, these teams will meet tomorrow in the series finale, as first pitch will be underway at 1:10 Eastern, 1:10 Pacific time, 4:10 Eastern time, as the 2-1 to Raleigh's a fastball well inside. It'll be ball 3 to the big dumper, so we'll see if he walks for the second time tonight. Andres Munoz getting set up in the bullpen for the Mariners, their closer, looking to get set up here for another save opportunity if the Mariners can't get another run. As the 3-1 here from Boland to Raleigh is delivered, and Raleigh watches that fastball at the outer half of the plate get called for a strike. So the count's now full 3-2. As now we'll see what happens here with Raleigh and this full count. Boland gets set, working out of the stretch, fires, and ball 4 was way high, but Raleigh swung at it, and he fouled that behind to the backstop, so the count remains 3-2 here, as Raleigh doesn't appear to want any base on balls. He wants to get some barrel on the ball here and put it in play, as he's still alive here in a 3-2 count. Here comes the payoff pitch, and it's swung at and chopped foul again by Raleigh, so we'll do it all over again. This will now be the 7th pitch of this at-bat. Or I should say the 8th pitch of this at-bat, as that was the 7th pitch just fouled off a minute ago. All the fastballs 98 miles per hour or more from Boland. The next pitch ripped foul down the first baseline by Raleigh, as that one's down the line, but there for the ball boy to pick up yet again. So again, the count stays 3-2. Raleigh here looking again to add to his total over the last handful of games. As he watches this 3-2 go high and wide, it'll be ball 4, and he is aboard with a 1-out walk. So Raleigh walks. He's back at first base again here tonight. That'll bring up Cole Young, the second baseman, who grounded out to a res at second base his last time up. As the Mariners here now have a runner on here with a chance to perhaps add some insurance here in the eighth. But now here comes Stubbs out to the mound to have a word with Bolin. So they'll chat things over and try and discuss what perhaps could be next here in this inning. But overall here, the Mariners trying to make it now 4 wins in their last 5 games as they took 2 of 3 from the Cubs over the weekend, walking them off on Friday and Saturday. They took one on the chin 19-2 on Sunday before bouncing back and winning 9-2 last night here at home over the Phillies. As now the first pitch to Cole Young standing in from Bolin. It'll be fouled off. That fastball goes behind home plate off the netting. 0-1. The count here to the second baseman for Seattle. And the Mariners celebrating their 50th season as a club this year. As they got the patch on their left sleeve. As the 0-1 from Bolin. A changeup drops in there for a strike. As it's now 0-2 the count to Young. So I apologize for the static. It's really loud in my ear. I'm sure it's coming across, but I think we're all good now, so apologies for that. As 0-2 the count here to Young as Bolin delivers out of the stretch. It's bounced in the dirt. Good stop and a pick throw to first. It won't be in time. As diving back in safely will be Cal Raleigh as the count now moves to 1-2 after that pitch in the dirt. So again, Raleigh on first, Young at the plate. After Raleigh walked here with 1 out in inning number 8. Young here trying to make some noise. The 23-year-old had a homer in his last game, followed Raleigh's second homer of the game with one of his own. As now the 1-2-2 will be swung and chopped back at the mound. It'll be fielded and thrown to second in time for the first out. No bid to second, though, as Turner just ate it after the throw to him was made by the pitcher Bolin. So a runner still remains at first, though Raleigh's out at second. Cole will reach on a fielder, I should say Cole Young will reach here on a fielder's choice, as there's 2 away here in this bottom half of inning number 8. So now that'll bring up Taylor Ward. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning in his last plate appearance, and he came around to score on the RBI single that was made by Dominic Chazone. The first pitch to him will be outside and called a strike. That looked like a ball to me, but on the outer upper half of the plate, it looks like it was ruled a strike nonetheless, and Ward's behind 0-1 in the count. Bolin getting set back up here out of the stretch, glove at his letters, as he now picks off over to first towards Raleigh, who's back in with a head first slide. His right hand's in there safely, and now the ball back to the mound. So 0-1 still the count here to Taylor Ward, as the Mariners have their closer up and warm in the bullpen, 3 outs away from their 4th win in 5 games. As the 0-1 here to Young's low and inside, it'll even the count up at 1-1. As the Mariners, after that 22-0 spanking, they beat the Brewers 7-5 on last Wednesday, lost 7-4, then walked the Cubs off twice, then got spanked Sunday, and then spanked the Phillies yesterday 9-2. So it's been a bit of up and down baseball for him this past week, as the 1-1 to Ward's going to be sliced at and hit down the right field line, moving after it's Harper, who makes a diving catch out to his left, as that'll end the inning on a brilliant effort from the right fielder for Philadelphia. And it'll be the last chance for the Phillies when we come back. Andres Munoz set to take the mound for Seattle in a safe situation, as the M's lead it here 4-1 as we get to the 9th. Last chance here for the Phils. Top half of the ninth in Seattle with the M's up 4-1 over the Phillies on Tuesday Night Baseball. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me. I'll be back with you 7 nights from now down in Arlington, Texas, as the Rangers host the Athletics. Then 2 days later, a matinee from Houston, as we'll stay in Texas. But the Astros will play host to the White Sox. That'll get underway at 2 Eastern next Thursday. And of course, more baseball coming your way Friday and Sunday on this channel with Matthew Owens. It'll be the Dodgers and Tigers on Friday night and Sunday afternoon. Red Sox and Yankees. You can find it all right here on USM. So the Phillies now having to go up against the Mariners closer as Andres Munoz now on the bump for the M's, as he is the name every opposing lineup knows when Seattle gets to this 9th inning, as he's the established closer, recently reaching his 100th career save with Seattle. He's got 50 games under his belt this year. He's got 23 saves in 31 opportunities. He's got a 4.37 ERA, and he'll face Alex Bohm to begin the 9th here tonight. First pitch after be a 99-mile-per-hour fastball at the belt. That's taken for a strike. 0-1. The count here to Alex Bohm. Victor Robles, a defensive replacement out in right field. As Canzone's been pulled from the game, Robles' speed will be used out there in right field now as a defensive swap. So a pitch here in the dirt from Munoz to Bohm evens the count at 1-1. As Munoz, with 10 seconds left on the pitch clock, gets the sign and gets set. And delivers out of the stretch. It'll be up and in, as that'll miss for a ball. 2-1. It bounced out of the glove of Raleigh as well. As now the man on deck for Philadelphia, Bryson Stott, comes over and picks up that loose ball. Gives it over to a fan. As now Bohm stands back in ahead 2-1 in the count against Munoz in the 9th. Munoz delivers, and it's a ball inside at 100 miles per hour on the fastball. The count is 3-1. And now Munoz is close to giving up a dreaded leadoff walk. He deals back in and gets set from the stretch. Kicks and fires. And it's a fastball at the knees. It'll be taken for a strike right at the bottom of the zone. The count's now full. 3-2 to Alec Bohm. Bohm struck out in his last plate appearance. Hasn't found a hit yet today. He walked in the 3rd inning. As the 3-2 offering swung and hit foul back behind the first base dugout. We'll try it again. So Munoz, again, I mentioned, recorded his 100th career save as a Mariner earlier this month. Struck out 75 hitters over 47 and a half innings, or a 3rd inning, I should say, which tells you how effective he's been for the Mariners. And he'll get another here as he gets a fastball at the knees to ring up Alec Bohm. And the first strikeout here of the night for Munoz in his closing role will ring him up. But nope, an ABS challenge here is going to be had by Bohm, and it's going to be ruled a ball by 1/10 of an inch. And it's going to end up becoming a walk here. And a leadoff walk will put the Phillies man aboard, with Bryson Stott coming to the plate now with nobody out. So a crucial ABS call there. And it ends up in the Phillies' favor as it's a successful challenge from Bohm. And that'll bring Stott to the plate now with the part of the lineup that's hit the most for the Phillies tonight. First pitch to Stott from Munoz is a fastball at the knees. It's taken for a strike, 0-1. As Munoz has been working down in the strike zone quite a bit here so far. Again, runner on first, nobody out. The 0-1 is going to be swung and chopped foul down the 3rd base line by Stott. It'll be 0-2 now. The count to the Phillies' 3rd baseman. Munoz gets a new rock from the catcher Raleigh. Gets set now on the rubber. Working out of the stretch. Back foot on the back left side of the rubber. Kicks and fires. And he swings over top of the changeup, does Stott. And that'll be a strikeout on 3 pitches. And the first out of inning number 9 for the Mariners, who are now 2 outs away from victory here tonight. So just a good changeup there below the knees near the dirt that Stott swings over top of. And now the double play still in order here with 1 out in the top of the 9th. And now Brandon Marsh standing in. First pitch to him's a fastball on the outer half of the plate. That's called a strike. 0-1 to the bearded left fielder. 1 for 3 tonight. He singled in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th, and grounded out to second in the 7th. The 0-1 to him from Munoz is a changeup outside. That's called a ball. Missed out by about half an inch, or I should say 0.6 of an inch. Yeah, about half an inch there. Knew what I was talking about. Give myself a pat on the back, even though I questioned myself. As the count now is 1-1 to Marsh. Munoz fires and a fastball misses on the outer half to move it to 2-1 now. As Munoz now trying to claw back in this count. Got a dozen seconds to work with on the pitch clock. Takes a look over at the runner at first and fires. And that'll be swung and hit in the air to left field. Will it get down? It won't, as Randy Arozarena is able to make a knee-high catch moving to his left. Out in left center field, and that'll be the second out for the Mariners in this top of the ninth. And now they just need one more out to claim victory here on this Tuesday. So the final out belongs to Justin Crawford now. The last chance for the Phils, as he scored the only run, or I should say drove in the only run of the game back in the second inning with an RBI single that scored Bryson Stott, as the Phillies scored first a game ago and scored first here tonight, but have fallen behind multi-runs to the Mariners each night, as now Raleigh and the rest of the infield comes to the mound to have a chat with Munoz, as Yohan Duran's also getting warmed up in the Phillies bullpen just in case he might be needed. Now the conversation's been had on the mound, and Munoz gets set again with 2 outs, top of the ninth, looking to get his 24th save of the campaign, as the Mariners lead it 4-1 here at T-Mobile Park. So now standing in is Crawford, as they're down to their final out, the Phillies are. The first pitch to Crawford will be a fastball taken high for a ball, 1-0, as that was again at 99 miles per hour, high heat being delivered from Munoz. Fans here in Seattle getting ready to cheer a Mariners win. Most of the fans on their feet, but a ball here is going to be called 2-0, as that pitch was just below the knees. So now, hit the wrong button. Now a hitter's count here for Crawford, with a runner at second, as an easy steal was just had as well by Bohm on that last pitch. As now the 2-0 offerings in there on the inner part of the plate for a strike. 2-1 the count moves to, as Crawford digs back in. Mariners fans mostly standing if they're able to. Big crowd here at T-Mobile, as the 2-1 here is going to be fouled off by Crawford. 2-2 the count, and now the Phillies are down to their final strike tonight. So Crawford digs back in. All the Mariners faithful standing here at T-Mobile Park as Munoz, working out of the stretch, gets set, looking to end this one. The pitch is half-heartedly swung at, and nope, it's not going to be ruled a strike by third base umpire, so the count moves full now. 3-2 with 2 outs, and a walk here would bring the tying run to the plate in Garrett Stubbs, who I would imagine would get pinch hit for by Real Muto. But the full count offering, Munoz fires, and it's fouled off behind home plate by Crawford. We'll try it again. So again, a runner in scoring position, 2 outs, 3-2 the count. Mariners a strike away and out away from their 5th win in 7 games. The 3-2 offering, it'll be taken for a ball, but an ABS challenge is coming here from Cal Raleigh, and we'll see what the call ends up being. So after further review, it is ball 4, so now the bases have guys on first and second with 2 outs, and the tying run will come to the plate. It won't be JT Real Muto. Instead, it's going to be Brian De La Cruz coming to the plate. He's hitting .359 on the season, only 2 home runs, but overall he's a good contact hitter that's going to get the ball in play for the Phillies, as he has a chance to do something very special off this bench, as Munoz here takes his time getting set off the mound. As now we take a look at a flashback here against the Cardinals, as De La Cruz had an RBI single that started this comeback against the Cardinals. And we'll see what he could do here, as a 102 mile per hour fastball from Munoz is up and in. And that's a first pitch ball to De La Cruz, as he was signed as an international free agent by the Astros in 2013. This is now the 5th team he's been on, as the 1-0 comes his way. A check swing bounced it foul down towards the first base dugout. That'll even the count here at 1-1. Again, runners at first and second, 2 outs. Mariners up 3, tying run at the plate though for the Phillies. Brian De La Cruz digs in. Munoz gets set for Mariners. He delivers out of the stretch and a fastball is on the outer half of the plate. It's called for a strike. Now the Phillies once again are down to their final strike. Fans still standing at T-Mobile Park as they get loud here. The 1-2 from Munoz. It'll be swung on and missed. Strike 3, and the Mariners get it done for the 5th time in 7 games. As they've turned it around a bit here in August, they win this game 4-1 here against the Philadelphia Phillies. And they've taken this series against the Phillies with the one last match to go tomorrow afternoon here at T-Mobile Park. So 4-1 again, the final in favor here of in favor of the Seattle Mariners is George Kirby, who 92 pitches, pitched an absolute gem as he went 7 2/3, punching out 10 and allowing just 1 walk, 5 hits as he was dominant on the mound for the Mariners and at the plate as well for the Mariners. It was J.P. Crawford coming around to score on an RBI single that was punched through by Dominic Canzone along with Taylor Ward that gave the Mariners their insurance runs late in this game. And then in inning number 2, Cal Raleigh had his solo home run. And in inning number 6, Josh Naylor had an RBI single which brought J-Rod around to score Julio Rodriguez. That ended up being the game-winning run. So Josh Naylor with the game-winning RBI tonight for the Mariners as they win it by a score of 4-1 at home here tonight. So again, a huge thank you to those of you who joined me on tonight's broadcast. Still trying to get the whole swing of this baseball thing, but overall, going solo tonight, had to do everything myself. Pretty pleased with it. Can't complain, though I know it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But again, thank you all so much for spending your night here with me. As we got Cam Sai in the chat saying, as an M's fan, Munoz always stresses me out. He's saying this is so Munoz, but he in fact did get the save, his 24th of the campaign for the Mariners, as they get it done and get their 64th win on the season, as they now inch closer to the AL top spot in the AL West, as they are now just 2 games back of both the Texas Rangers and Houston Astros. So that'll be a wrap tonight from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. It was a 4-1 final in favor of the Mariners. And the next time you'll hear from me, Jaric Rubel, will be 7 nights from now down in Texas as the Rangers play host to the Athletics as they battle for a top spot in the AL West. The Rangers do with the Astros and Mariners. We're getting down to the final 30 days of the MLB season. These pennant races are heating up. The wild card races have been hot, and it's a fun time to be a baseball fan. I'll talk to you all next week from Texas, but be sure to be here on Friday for Matthew Owen's call between the Dodgers and the Tigers. That gets underway at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Tomorrow, it's the UEFA Champions League playoffs as well with Seth Eves right here on USM. Hope to see you all there, and I hope to see you all in Texas 7 nights from now with me as the Rangers host the Athletics in another edition of Tuesday Night Baseball. As for tonight, again, the final 4-1 in favor of the Mariners. George Kirby, a terrific performance, gets the win after pitching 7 2/3 of an inning, and Josh Naylor gets the game-winning RBI single, and Cal Raleigh hits his 4th home run in as many games, or I should say in 2 games, and he has kept his hot streak alive for the Mariners, who are trying to push back into the American League playoffs. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. That's been a presentation of Major League Baseball tonight on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Mariners win it in 9, 4-1 over the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. I'll speak to you all in 7 days from Texas. So long, and good night, everybody.